Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCo Nation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CoCo Nation Show, episode 303. How y'all doing?
Okay.
We have this.
Don't everyone talk at once.
We have this strange ball of light that came up over the horizon this morning. Not sure.
I was
what
just
it
gonna say
is.
we were silent because Jason Reichert there was just zoning in from the Matrix there, from what I saw. So I was waiting for him to materialize.
I'm trying to beam. It's not working.
Sorry, Mark. I should have put a hat on. Give you all that brightness. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Is that where it's coming from?
Is
We
that
need
what's upsetting
David
my
Ladd.
camera?
Yeah, people think I have a light off camera here. That's not light.
Is that a Chinese camera?
Aren't they all?
If we had David Ladd, we'd get the shine off his head.
That's
right.
Well, Terry's doing a very good substitution right now. So
Oh my!
It's so exciting.
Okay. Well, let's see who we got on the panel today. Let's see. Let's do this right. Let's push this button, push this button. There we go. Now we got the right introduction. Let's see. Upper left-hand corner, we have Mark Overhoser.
Hey. Oh, that one. Hi.
Oh, you
Two
can't even
cameras
look
now.
into the right camera now. You have
Yeah.
more than one camera.
You're
Yeah.
supposed
You-
you're supposed to be
look for the-
watching the director that tells you which camera is on.
Yeah, look for
Well,
the little red light,
little
Marco.
light. Yeah, they're green actually on mine, but
Camera one, camera
green's
two.
an appropriate cocoa color. Of course.
exactly.
Let's see. Next over, yours truly. Next up, we got Ron Delvaux.
Hey, how are you doing?
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Right. Then we got Rick Euland.
How you doing? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody
This
missed the
freaking guy
camera.
here.
All right, middle row, Curtis Boyle.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
And we'll have Grant Leedy with a special report about CoCo Fest.
Hey, everybody.
Well, as long as he doesn't keep talking about his Kansas City Chiefs, that's okay.
Hey, just remember, we have a better football team than you do.
And we'll have a showing from Brian Weasler
Hello. Welcome to the show, everybody.
and Terry Stiggy.
welcome everyone.
Right. And bottom row, we got Loopy Malibu. Okay. And Jason Reichert, who might have a camera.
Marco has two cameras. I have like a half a camera right now, but today's edition of the CoCo Nation is brought to you by Air in a Can.
Okay. And sneaking in at the last second, we've got Nick Marentes.
Hey, everyone, and apologies in advance.
We love you
Okay.
anyway.
Wow, Jason's got problems with his camera over there.
Yeah, we're going to do
Yeah,
a
he
reboot
does.
here shortly after.
Okay. All righty. That's the introductions. No one else popped in. All right. So first up today, we're going to do project updates and acquisitions. So, and then first up for that was going to be Brian.
Okay.
We had him before.
Yeah, I know. He's here every week, it seems like.
Yeah, well, he keeps digging
Becoming
into
a
the back
fixture.
of that truck.
It's the Brian Weasler subscription model we have for him on the show here.
There you
Subscribe to
go.
see all of his new acquisitions.
You got to see our ratings though.
Well, thank you. There we go. Okay, let me adjust here. Sorry. I think we all have that glare problem going on today.
Yeah, Terry, turn down your head, please.
I wish that's the only problem I have with my camera today.
Well, first off here, I'm going to share a couple books. Let me switch the camera here. There we go. Okay,
Well, that's the original first color logo on cartridge, isn't it?
Yes. So this is you guys are probably all seeing this one here. This would be the color logo. And then in addition to that one, there was another book that I have here that I wanted to share. Wasn't sure if I might have shared this before, but I couldn't remember. It's the color logo guide for parents. And it's kind of it actually has like tutorials going through how to be a parent, right? But it actually has it's laid out almost like a little lesson planner where it actually has like questions and things like that could be different exercises and stuff that could be done. So I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of a educational way to learn the color logo. And then in addition to that, this one here came all the way from Australia. And the book smells kind of funny.
That's where it went.
The book did smell kind of funny, so I don't know if this is what Australia smells like, Nick. But anyway,
Does it smell like Vegemite?
It's probably like kangaroo poop.
Kangaroo ass.
So there was this one here. There's a learning logo on the TRS-80 color computer. So I haven't had a chance to thumb through it at all, but
is that a red one?
Yep, the red one there. So yeah.
Yeah, I got that one.
So I thought that was
maybe
good.
that is mine.
You might want to explain what exactly is logo. Is it a programming language or?
Yeah, it's a language that uses kind of like coordinates type of thing where you say you're going to draw a line in a certain angle for so many steps, and then you would turn. Logo, it's been referred to, and you can see the little turtle symbol here. A lot of times it was, I think other ones called it turtle.
Turtle graphics is what a lot of them call the technique anyway. Yeah.
And so it's kind of a way of drawing a line where you would basically spell out instructions to say, okay, draw a line in this direction at this angle for so many steps, and then turn at this angle and then draw another step. The idea is that even if you make a circle, you're not really drawing a circle, you're drawing a whole series of small straight lines essentially to draw a circle. And it's just a way of doing graphics with kind of a language here.
So it's vector graphics.
Kind of like that. I guess that might be a way of describing it.
Yeah, it's actually got a programming language with it too, so it's a bit more than just a graphics language. It was meant for kids, actually. It was meant to be an educational language.
Yep.
And the CoCo had at least, 3 or 4 versions of it that I know of, but I think Radio Shack sold them all.
Yeah, there was a cartridge base, and then there was the Super
Disc
Logo
one, and there was Super Logo, one by Larry Kerrigan, and I can't remember the other guy's name, and then another one by Dale Lear.
So are the authors any relation to Douglas Adams?
Nah.
Sure.
42.
Okay. Let's see here. What else we got here? So you can never have too many of these here. These are always kind of handy to have. I picked up another cleaning disc. So not the whole package or whatever. So just those are always.
So you don't have the stuff to squirt on it.
I just use alcohol out of a bottle.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty well all it was. So
that's all it was just alcohol. So
Michelob or
it
has to be stronger. It has to be at least vodka level.
Ever clear.
Don't do that.
And then this one here was kind of interesting. Here it's a 4-in-1 Infocom sampler.
I got that.
Oh, I remember those.
So
it was a disc that came with just a little bit of play on each of the games. Like you couldn't go too far, but it was enough to give you a flavor of it.
Right. Yep. That's kind of what I picked up from it. And it does have the disc in there, and it's just a little
it was free with a coupon.
There you go. I mean, the package was already open, so I'll bring it out here. So so it had the Infocom disc here. And then this is essentially just an insert. So
Okay, so it was a demo version of 4 of their games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that one?
They did that for various computers, not just the CoCo. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. Did that one disc have just for Tandy, and then they have other discs for like IBM and?
This one here just says it says TRS-80 Color Computer 2 on it. It doesn't
Yeah,
say
I think
like,
they gave a different version of the disc depending. I mean, the same packaging, but you got a different disc depending on which one you ordered for which computer. They didn't give you a bundle of a whole bunch of ones.
And then next, I picked this one here up. It was called Master Control 2.
Oh, that's the
And-
thing. It has a little overlay that you put over the old chiclet keyboard, and you could get certain keys to, like the MC10, where you could get full keywords. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. So what it's for is you would load this program, and here's the template we were just talking about, and then it came with this cassette. And you would it talks about the fact that it loads itself into memory, and then what it does, it gives you shortcuts for programming in BASIC. So let's see here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit on this here.
Is your camera attached to your table?
Yeah, because it's shaking like crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I'll try to keep my hand a little off there. So, whoops. Let me go here.
I love the logo on the book. It's actually a TDP, not a CoCo.
Yeah, it is a TDP. So you can see some of the language here, or some of the programming statements that were available. Go to, and so the idea is that you could program in BASIC faster by just hitting Control and the corresponding key. And the booklet basically shows you how to load it into. There we go.
Was there another program similar to that called Color Key Command?
Possibly, yeah.
There was a couple programs. I can't remember if that was the name of one of the ones that I
I
remember.
think I had Color Key Command.
But there were a few.
Key.
Yeah,
But
something
it
with
shows you
key
how
in
to,
it.
it shows you how to, it gives you the commands to load it into the different, like 16K or a 32K machine. In the back here, it gives instructions on if you want to convert it from the cassette and how to create a disc for it. So, yeah.
I think it's just hilarious. We've got this giant program, this program to convert key presses into words that can go to the tokenizer to convert the words back into single codes again.
Yeah.
It's also ironic too, because one thing everybody complained about on the original CoCo 1 was the chiclet keyboard. Yet this is one thing it was really good at, was these nice templates, because Art Gallery used it and this used it and a few other programs too. And then once the good keyboards that everybody liked to type on came out, all these were useless.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was a good feature, but the chiclet keyboard.
For the whole typing thing.
Yeah, because with the other keyboards, it would be difficult. I mean, I
There's
would
no spacing
suspect that-
between to put it on. I mean, that's the problem.
but I suspect that you could probably run this on a color computer too. Would you
Oh yeah,
not?
no, it runs fine. It's just that you can't
You
put
have
the
to
template.
write everything on the front of the keys with a Sharpie.
There you go.
Top, the front.
Or you can get Ed to laser etch them all like his custom keyboards. I'd love to see him like position the enter key and whatever keyword. I can't see it on the screen right now, but
Right.
laser burn that little thing in.
How often do you think people were chewing chiclet gum while they were on their Model 1
Chiclet keyboards.
CoCo? How many, do you think?
No idea, but at least that would block him from going in between the keys. If
Hey,
he
your spot
accidentally
in the
spit it
middle
out.
took off.
Yeah, I bumped it off of there. The next thing I want to show here, I actually bought it was a Color Computer 1 that had this keyboard installed, but they also had the original chiclet keyboard with it. And so I received the computer. I wasn't going to show the computer. I just wanted to show the keyboard. And it's one that we've all seen before, but it's some of the stuff that came with it that I really like. So I put the original keyboard back into the Color Computer 1, and then I have this because it actually came with the box itself, which I really kind of like. So it's an HDL keyboard, and so this would have been the original box that it came in. You can see the owner here talked about.
Where was it made? Does it say?
Was it in Illinois or something?
This one shipped from Rochester, New York.
That's
Oh,
right.
Oh, you're aware of that, eh, Ron?
I knew that, sure.
So this was just something that they printed off, though. But
Mhm.
with it, though, I thought what was kind of nice. The person had the invoice that they got with it here. Let's see here. Let me zoom in just a little bit.
I can't see the name of the people that bought it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to try to just keep that. Not a big deal, but you can see here that they paid about $75 for the keyboard. There was Master Control 2, and that was what I bought. This came from the same seller. They had something called Touchstone or Touchstone.
Touchstone. That's a game by Tom Mix.
Okay. And then they also bought Miss Gobbler,
That's a game by Spectral Associates.
and then they brought Grand Prix.
Well, that could be one of two. I would guess it's probably the Intracolor pole position clone.
Right. So they spent a grand total of $177.75, and then a little bit of shipping and
They got some discounts too. They must have been giving them discounts if you bought everything at once.
yeah, they gave it like a -3% discount there. So
And a -20 above that.
So,
I bet you they were disappointed once they put the HJL keyboard in to find
Find
out
out
the
the Master
template
Control
didn't
2
work.
doesn't work. Well, the template doesn't work. The program still does.
Yeah,
So,
the
and then-
program does, but not.
and then here was the some of the original paperwork that was with it. This is what kind of intrigued me by the whole thing. So, and because it talks about some function keys and a program that you can that you could enter in to take advantage of the F1. Whoops.
Through F4.
Take advantage of the F1, F2, F3, F4 keys.
By the way, Karen 60 in the chat there was wondering if that Grand Prix is by Mictron. That's Speed Racer. That's not Grand Prix. Grand Prix was by Intracolor. Or Morocco GP, which also stands for Grand Prix by Computerware, but I think it's probably the 3D one.
So you can see here's the keyboard and everything, and it's in really great shape.
Oh, that is wow.
Oops, let me back up just a little bit again here. I think you guys probably see it okay. And it had the Mylar. It also had the adapter here. So this one here is plugged in. This was a pin one, for the
old D&E boards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just think, there's still Rochester air in there.
And then of course you had these push-ons that you'd push onto the stud there to hold the keyboard in place, because these would fit over the studs that the original keyboard would set on top of. So the idea was is that you had these spacers that you'd slip over the plastic stud. This would set on top of these spacers, and then you'd use these push-on connectors to hold it in place.
Clips,
Yep. Yeah, clips. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then to fill in the gap, you had the template. This or not template, but this spacer that fit over.
Looks used.
Yeah. Oh, it is. This was not this. This was in the computer when I received it, so I took this out of the computer.
Okay.
And so this is this would have sat in there like this to take up around the gap, that the original keyboard would set in. So, but I just thought it was nice to have the original box and packaging and everything. I have a couple color computers that already have this keyboard in it. But
it'd be really cool is to spray that gray. like the
he didn't have the number jack at the same time, did he? The numeric keypad that HDL also sold.
No, they didn't. But that would have been cool. The seller, if they would have had that. So, but yeah. And then of course having the box that it came in and everything. So that's what intrigued me by this one. Not so much the computer itself, but just having this package. I should have actually brought the computer in, because also in with the computer was the original invoice that the guy had for buying the color computer as well. He bought it from a place, and they had some work done on it.
What date was that? Do you remember? Or
no, I don't. Maybe the next time I'll bring that computer on itself. It's kind of neat to see those. When a person has like an invoice or something of where they bought these computers from.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's early on, because if he has the connector on there and an older D board, he probably bought it between 80 and 82. I would guess.
Yeah, I should.
Well, that instruction sheet had a date of 84 on it.
The purchase date on this here shows April. That's probably not coming through here very well, but it's April 10th of 85.
85.
One thing I will say that I thought did interest me though is that this person, at the time they bought this, they lived in Mason City, Iowa, which is only like a couple hours away from me here. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Right here in the same spot. Two more quick things here to share. It wasn't a Radio Shack product, but it was sold via Radio Shack because it had one of the Radio Shack catalog numbers on it. But it's just it's an AT connector extender. And the reason why I picked this up is because I do have one of the Cloud9 AT
keyboard adapters or whatever.
Yep, that I do want to install, and I thought this might be kind of nice to be able to kind of extend it further a little bit away. So that's kind of why I picked this up. So kind of the fact that it was sold through Radio Shack, but then just to have that extender. So
Hey, Brian, how many computers do you have set up and working?
right now I don't have any set up because I've had to because I recently moved and stuff. So right now I don't have anything set up. But I would like to have a space to have several set up at one time. So, and then
I've got
lastly,
spaces.
lastly, the thing I wanted to show is Neil Blanchard started another run of his Sega joystick adapter, and so I did pick up one of these, and he asked if there's anything special about it. So he put on 2 different colored cables, and I also asked for the cables to be longer. So he kind of made a custom one for me. So
Oh, cool.
I wanted
So
to get
when,
one of
when
those.
you plug them in, does it say Sega?
No, but you got the blue's the right, and then the white goes into the left. So that way you keep them straight out here. But no, not a big deal. But it was just an option there. So yeah, I recently got that from Neil. So he's doing another production run of those. If anybody's been wanting to get one for some reason. reach
Also,
out to him.
Brian, Steve Rasmussen in the chat is asking, that's Buck Owens. Has Brian scanned the assembly manual for the CoCo 2 kit computer?
No, I have not had a chance to do that yet, but I have it setting aside to do that because I wanted to also scan the board in. Rick was asking if I could get a good scan of that, Rick Euland, and then I wanted to scan that manual in for the assembly manual. Nope, I have not had a chance to do that, but it's on my list.
Okay.
Bet you- I
Also,
bet
I'll
you
mention
have
that
a
the
lot
guy
of
that runs
stuff.
the Color Computer Archive, he just moved too, so he's kind of scrambling to stay caught up with stuff too. So if you do upload it and it doesn't show up for 2 weeks, don't worry about it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet you have a lot of stuff that's not in the archive.
Yeah, I have a list of some other things too that I kind of have a little marked that I want to get scanned. But also as I go through things too, I do want to start doing that. Take a quick look at that and see if it's available. As an example, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find this on the archive, so I do want to get that scanned in and the tape itself uploaded as a WAV file.
Yeah, I just uploaded some old Aardvark games, like some of their first gen ones from '81 that went up there just the last couple of weeks.
So yeah, very good. Well, that's all I have to show you gentlemen today.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, it's kind of sad. There's no more.
No more. Not right
I
now.
think Terry has
There's
more.
more. There's more.
There's always more.
It's not today.
Okay, let's see.
Who has the bigger collection, Terry or Brian?
Yeah.
Or Ron?
No.
Probably wrong.
Ron's got a whole garage.
Yeah. But no.
I think Brian's at the point where he owns a small town at this point, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's who has the bigger problem.
My location has its own zip code.
It turns out my Ron's garage is like a 1-car garage, you know. Compared
Everybody needs to
some
pay
of the
attention to Mark Overhorser's speech on Sunday about what to do with your computer collection after you pass.
Oh, not this
Oh, okay.
Sunday, Coco Fest Sunday.
Yeah, Coco Fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
So basically, you're just going to put in the will to ship everything to Kansas City, Kansas over here, and I'll be more than happy to take it for you.
Yeah.
I was just going to ship
Jason-
it to Brian, so he eventually has every Coco thing ever made on Earth.
Jason, you get a new camera there, buddy.
I'm guessing the Zoom update that I just had to do must have screwed everything up. The camera's built into the computer.
Yeah, that would do it.
Wow. Hey, Terry, you had some things to show too, didn't you?
Yeah, let's see. First thing I got was I was able to get a floppy disks container still in the box.
Oh, that's nice.
Thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tandy one.
Over 3.5 too.
How many people have one of those with the plastic underneath the bottom where it broke off, where it clicks on and latches? They
Right.
Yeah, right.
That part
Couple
always
of
broke.
those.
So.
Yeah, I have one of those that there's 5 1/4.
6.
And I apologize, this isn't particularly Coco related, but it is Tandy related.
Oh, I remember that.
A TV adapter. Cool.
Oh, a receiver, analog receiver.
But I might try to put that in one of my 1000s and play with it, but I
You
thought
can
that
look at
Does
you can
it
look
come
at a
with a
bunch of snow
jammer?
without a special piece of
Right, you have
hardware,
to build
can't
a
you?
small transmitter to go with it, but other
And
just
you'll
look
need
out
a
my
you'll need a
front
set
window.
You'll need a converter box to go along with that. And
Let's see. And I'll be quick here with these. I got the one everybody's usually talking about, so I did that. I was able to get.
That's William Barton Jr.'s Assembly Language book for those on the audio.
But do you have one signed like I do?
No, and I am jealous.
Is he still not letting those be put on the website?
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Guide to Super Software for the Tier City Calculator. I'm
never
not
seen
familiar with
that
that
one.
one.
I
That's
hadn't
what-
either.
So is that a bunch of reviews of software that you buy, or is it stuff to type in, or what is it?
It's actually explaining different things you can go through, and let's see here. Kind of, yeah, it's explaining like Telewriter, how to use it.
Okay, so it's explaining how to use third-party software, or probably some Radio Shack stuff too.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I had not seen it before.
Never even heard of that one.
I'll see about getting that one. I'm trying to figure out a good way to scan these. I have not.
Let's see the back.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
You have to tear each page out and lay it flat onto a scanner.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
So that's the problem, though. Then you wreck it.
So it says it's a guide to color computer software.
So Terry, bring it to CoCo Fest. I'll see about packing a scanner that's designed.
No, he's not
do
going
books.
to CoCo Fest.
Oh, well, I was
Yeah,
trying.
Ship it to you or something, Mark. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I got the same problem with some color computer news ones that are not on the archive that I don't want to wreck either.
The rest of this is pretty much just going to be an L. Curtis Boyle section, but I got
I can't
Night
read
source
it.
book.
Microwares.
Night
gets the
source
nice-
book. That's more for 68K stuff, but
Okay.
It's a blur.
Yeah, it's a blur because you got that bright
Today-
light on it.
today's
they
edition
were
of
deflected away
Show
from
and
your
Tell-
head, Terry. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Yes.
They
It's-
didn't have an artist do the artwork.
It's in glare vision.
No, they didn't. So we'll continue on with that.
That's much better.
Oh wow, I haven't seen those. That's actually OS 96809 manuals, but not from Tandy.
Thought that was kind of cool.
That is. Does it mention specific platforms like gimmicks and SWTPCs and stuff in there? Or is it just a generic, any old computer thing?
I haven't really
Just read it out. The show's going to
Yeah,
go
dramatically.
4 hours.
Yeah. We've got to fill all this time, right?
If you can do it for an hour, then you've made my seminar for me.
Maybe I need to send them to you. But these were some also I had never heard of them.
Oh, I've got those. That's TEPCO, Lawrence TEPCO.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not bad, those.
What's the top line say?
Semi-language programming.
Assembly language programming.
The one on the
Well,
left, the
then-
thicker one is for the CoCo 1 and 2, and the one on the right, the thinner one is an addendum for the CoCo 3 specific stuff.
That is a poor looking font.
And that was actually the first assembly language books that I got that I actually liked. Honestly, I like those better than Barden's, personally.
What?
Yeah, they're pretty good, those.
Yeah, there's a couple mistakes in it, but I bought them at Rainbow Fest actually.
That's all I've got to share. I just wanted to. I thought that was pretty cool. I was going through that big collection of stuff, and those kind of stuck
I definitely
out
wouldn't
at
mind
me.
seeing the 6809 manuals from Microware themselves. I've never seen those. I've only seen the Tandy ones for level 1
Okay.
or level 2. Did it say level 1 or 2, or is it for both? Do you know?
Probably level 1.
I'm betting level 1. It does not. It just has the date of 80 through 84. I don't know if that helps.
Oh, that could be either then.
Terry, I find myself staring at that black cocoa back there.
I think
It's gorgeous.
when I go, that's going to Ron.
Yay!
There you go.
I hope the hell I live long enough. That's awesome.
Is that your is that referred to as your Vader? Your Vader
That's
Coco?
my Vader Coco. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an excellent design.
Oh, so you're the guy who did that.
Well, that was actually a broken Coco 3. The case was all smashed up. So when I got it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to play with some body filler. And Ed and I talked, and I've got a Gimme X in it. And then I've got his 8 meg card in it. So, and his laser, he made me the special black keyboard and the red
Letters on it.
bezel or whatever it is. So yeah.
So what color are the letters on the keys?
Right
White.
now they're just the etching. I never did color them.
Oh.
My hand wasn't steady enough to color them.
See, that's the
Black
squiggle
letters on a
key.
black.
Right, yeah.
That's
Why
the
are
other
these all
squiggle key.
S?
That is the greatest show and tell ever.
Does anybody else have anything to show? I actually got a couple things that aren't new acquisitions, but rediscovered acquisitions. I can quickly show.
Yeah, go ahead and go, Curtis. Then I'll give a CoCo Fest update after you're done.
I was going to ask Rick Euland, did you have any updates to do today? Or
Well, I just had a question for the room. So we've had the whole, do I poke a hole in the warranty sticker or not? Who has the most abused CoCo? This one has 4 stickers, so it's been penetrated 5 times.
now, is that due to upgrades or repairs? Is my question.
Well, there's like 3 repair stickers, the original sticker, and then someone's been into it after that. So,
Well, how do you know?
well, there's
You had, to
4
lift,
stickers.
you had to lift them up and look at each one.
1, 2, 3, and a 4th one. The original one showing. You can't really see it all in the picture, but there are 4 stickers or sticker parts here.
Different layers.
Different layers. They just poked it and stuck another sticker on top every time they fixed it.
The bottom layer is the Pleistocene era when the dinosaurs were. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. When the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Now it's time for warranty seal archaeology.
If
Well,
that
exactly. So who has the most penetrated CoCo? This one's got 4. So
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
do you think the
Don't use that terminology.
do you think the power cord's ever been cut off of it?
no, there's a
No, those are actually Radio Shack repair centers, so those are all legit. That's not,
right. This
Yeah.
all came from Radio Shack, and then here's the original styrofoam stuck on the power cord.
If that was a
Is
wolf,
that
it'd be put out.
is that a grey case CoCo or?
Yeah,
Great
I
case
can tell
CoCo
from the
one,
shine, yeah.
keyboard,
You can
I
tell
think.
from the serial number sticker on the bottom too, because it says here steady color computer, not 2.
This was the
Right.
one I had that has no keyboard. It runs, but it had no keyboard. Now I've got the parts to make a keyboard for it, so it will be.
Yeah, I was going to recommend a guy.
Yeah. Well,
You
it's so
know this guy.
irritating because I've had this thing with no keyboard all this time, couldn't make a keyboard for it. Well, now I finally can. All the parts to do it. So.
On the inside of the top cover, does it happen to have like in permanent marker like dates and a person's initials? A lot of times, some of the repair guys would put like dates and stuff like that on the inside when repairs were done. Those are
Yeah, a
always
couple of mine have that.
Or was that the factory doing that on the moldings?
I'm not sure. I just know I have a couple CoCos that were repaired and there was like initials with a date. I figured that was probably from the service center or something that the person was just denoting when the work was done.
Hey, Rick,
No,
is that a 26 3004?
No, 3002.
Oh, 3002.
So-
Oh, okay. Right.
At the repair center I worked at, we used to sign the that line there on the bottom of the warranty tag. We used to sign it with the dates and our shop number and stuff like that.
One of the things I've got that I just love, it's a super customized CoCo 2, I believe it is, from Marty
Goodman?
He wrote all over the inside of that thing explaining what the jumpers were. It's pretty cool actually to have.
When Tim Linder and I went to his place in San Francisco quite a few years back before he started shipping out all of his old machines that he'd done all these hacks to, we got to see some of that stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I might have actually seen the CoCo you have.
I'm going to tell you something that just made my day, Curtis, seeing you blow water all over the place. I don't know why. It just made my day.
That's
Harry,
a
you
show
gotta-
highlight right there.
Do
Right.
you have a couple? Do you have a couple of pictures of it?
Somewhere I've actually got it packed away. I don't have it operating at the moment, but I'll pull it out. And he actually made a wood case keyboard that's extended so that the CoCo could be like under a desk, and then just the extended.
You have a keyboard in your lap.
Yeah. So
That'd
but
be
yeah,
great to see.
I'll bring that. I'll do that as a
Yeah,
special in there.
that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
You know, you need to
He's
put
a
that,
fascinating guy to talk to too. So
you need to put that behind you instead of the Sega.
You know, I agree with you. I think all this is going to go. It's time. So, I did get one other acquisition.
But wait, there's more.
better highlight
is
in
it?
there.
Oh, Radio
Oh,
Shack.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Oh wow.
It's
Cool.
a It's an actual AM radio.
Is the antenna on or broke off?
I don't think it has one.
Oh, that one has the internal.
AM.
Most
AM, it
AMs
was
have a bar.
coil.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
bar with the coil on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Anyway,
You know
sorry, I
what,
forgot to mention that.
you know what's really cool if you think of it? Radio stations are still around. I mean, you can turn that on and listen to it.
Right?
Yeah.
It still works.
Yep.
Oh,
What are you holding up there, Rick?
No clues here.
Oh,
Oh, there's nothing written on the inside of the case.
It's also black plastic.
Yeah.
All right, it's black plastic.
Okay, it's look through your
Yep.
Coco
It's
lid day
silver,
here
right?
on the Coco
The
Nation.
older Coco ones were all black plastic. Mine wore off where my wrists
Yep.
were right down. Actually, it looks nice when it's the natural black.
No parts.
Yeah, that's how the Ag Vision and the video text
Got the-
is. It's the black
Yeah.
plastic.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Spectrum badge.
$239.95. So
Yeah, I think it was the
Wow.
F board Cocos when they switched to the white, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Roughly.
For the very
roughly
last
right.
ones.
$239.95 is pretty cheap, though, isn't
Yeah.
so now you
What's
got
the
me
RAM
looking
badge
in the
say?
inside of mine here. Hang on.
it?
And Jason was
RAM
holding
badge
up a
say?
case too. You might as well do the
Yeah, it's look
Exploration
through
wall.
your Coco case day here on Coco Nation.
So
Now
we turned into
this stuff is what makes the Coco Nation cool.
Jason.
Okay, Jason, if you want to highlight Jason, what is
Yep.
Jason showing? Is that a Coco
Gotta
3 or
find
2?
It is a Coco 3. My Coco 3 doesn't have any screws in it, so I was able to pick that up easily for whatever little comedic value there is in this.
No, there's nothing written on the inside.
There's nothing written on. Well, there's things on the other side, but
I would hope so.
everybody's pulling their Cocos and covers.
everybody
I
pull
got
your
one too
Coco
here.
apart.
Hey, 16K.
I just want to show you the Canadian one because we have that mesh you guys don't have. Supposedly for
yes.
us.
Is there a little maple leaf on the Canadian one?
No,
Oh, you shielding mesh?
but the mesh smells like maple syrup, so that's probably close enough.
Ooh.
Well, wasn't that mesh
Oh, hang
kind of
on.
a? it
And of
was
course, all the glue holding it on that people sometimes think is like, leaking resistors or whatever.
But wasn't
look
that
at
mesh
that.
a?
Look at
The mesh
that.
was a
Look at that.
safety feature, wasn't it? The idea that something metal couldn't fall down inside there, wasn't that a?
Yeah,
a
like
safety
coins.
thing?
Yeah.
Is the mesh made of metal?
Nope. Feels
No,
like plastic. Well,
probably plastic.
no, it's just
Okay.
plastic.
That would be
But
funny if it
other
was
than
a
that, I
metal
think
mesh.
this is basically the same as a standard one. You guys have this blocked out piece here too, I presume?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Thermal
Yep.
thing.
Okay.
This is a Coco 2 one that I use for my Coco Pie.
Oh,
And
you know, I smell a new Facebook group. Show us your Coco lid on Facebook. Ron, better get on that one.
Yeah.
Naked
Yeah, let's all submit
Coco.
photos.
Oh man.
Topless
But-
Cocos.
Oh, you got the TDP there, Terry.
Yeah, Coco's gone wild.
So
Coco's gone wild.
Getting into the kinky stuff now.
whoa. Okay. So
everybody's got screws on their table.
yeah, this is like
Yeah.
none of these
I don't
have
even know where the
screws in
screws for mine are, so no.
They're supposed to be taped under the keyboard to the case.
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to do.
I
What
think
do you need
to
screws
rephrase
for? That just
Ron,
takes
it's
extra
everybody's
time to
got
get
a-
into it every time.
For the
So
next
shipping.
owner.
Everybody's got a screw loose. I
Shipping.
think.
I'll say.
I have several loose.
So this one's an F board, but the plastic is
We're all
gray,
screwed.
There you
and it
go.
does have the
What have
production
you
date
done, Sloop?
in the back of it.
can you zoom it up, Mark, so that they can see it?
Now, is that a
I
production?
can zoom
date or-
everybody else out by myself.
So,
You
Mark,
can't
is that
spotlight yourself.
is that a production date or a service date?
I think it's a production date.
Okay.
It's all blurred. I can't see
Went
it.
away.
Focus.
Come on,
Focus.
focus.
Sure, sure.
There you right
There
there.
we
There
go.
you go.
82.
Yeah.
That is
3,
2 or
82.
3? Is that 82 or 83?
Looks like 12-3. 82.
Let's see, 82.
92.
82.
Okay.
December 3rd, 82. But
92.
the whereas your plastics are black, this one's a gray plastic all the way through.
Okay, that's different because I
And it
remember
doesn't-
the ones with the white
And the
plastic.
flippy thing
Same
is
thing,
on
Greg.
the bottom, not the
right.
top.
It's not on the door, it's on the bottom. So
Yeah.
that's the F board. And of course the bezel is gray.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what
they
I
just
remember.
didn't,
Yeah, of
logo.
so they didn't
So if you
paint-
wear that down, is it white underneath? Like, did they paint the inside, or is that actually gray plastic?
Oh, it's gray plastic.
yeah, it's gray plastic all the way through.
Okay, that's different because the F board I have is white. I can't get to it right now, but
And I
I
think
have
they
a Coco one that's black under the paint.
so it's gray plastic, and then they get the Mercedes silver paint on top of that. So on the little chips, like I see in the corner here, little chips, there's gray, the gray paint is underneath it.
Kind of
Not
close.
paint, but the gray plastic's underneath it. So Let me unhighlight myself now.
Yeah, because the older Coco cases also had the labeling on the back for like your left right joystick and all that stuff. It's just a stencil, a black stencil put on, and the later
this
ones
was-
actually have it embossed.
Yeah, this one's
plastic.
molded. Yeah. So that's on the F board, and of course the D board is like you described. It's black plastic with the printed.
And I'm not sure what Sloopy's trying to show here. He's got like a backlight, so it just looks like a blurry
He's
blue and
got
purple
holes
mess.
through his
Yep.
transistor.
All right, hang on.
Transformer area.
Come back and flip the.
He's done something wrong. Did you do that, Sloopy, or did you find it that way?
And since we're talking about case covers, I was able to get screws that match in case you lose them at Ace Hardware, and they're gold.
Oh, what he's trying to say is the area over the transformer is
Yeah, it's been cut
open.
out.
Yeah,
Somebody cut it out.
Well,
Cut
that is
it
that
out.
is that from
different
the
somehow. Yeah.
is that from the original Coco 2?
Actually, this
Three?
is the $10 Coco 3 that I got at
Oh,
Fest.
So somebody cut it out, didn't
Mm.
they?
Well, no, because there's extra webbing in the plastic around the transformer and around the slots.
No,
That's
mine's like
extra.
that.
They
Yours
actually
is?
cut it
Yeah,
out.
mine's like that.
yeah, because the Coco 3 is closed over.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
guess you
my
could
two.
cut that out pretty easily.
Yeah, if you look, you can see where
Yeah, they cut it.
straight to not straight.
Yeah.
But
And
no,
really, that's
Yeah.
that's
So
the
that-
place you do want the vents because
Yeah,
that's
because
where
it's right over the power
transformer
supply thing,
is.
isn't it?
No, they
No, and
actually
they
did
cover it
that
up.
on purpose to pump the air more. It's supposed to roll out from under the covered transformer
yeah, that gives it a more straight path.
and
Yeah.
You get
to
better
promote. It's like a Dyson fan. You want to get convection coming out from under the hot spot over the cool spot and pulling more air from around the motherboard through the vents.
And this was
Instead of
only
just letting it zoom straight up. And
Or Tandy could have just installed a fan, but hey.
well, yeah, you could have put a fan.
Fans cost
Okay.
money.
flashlights
Yes.
I had at hand. So and
this
Okay,
is-
so we got
Anybody
it
else
down-
before I do my quick little bit?
Sloopy, you're giving me a headache.
I just think it's kind of funny. I merely asked Rick if it had lettering on the bottom, and we went into a 10-minute tangent about covers. and stuff like that.
We've been everywhere.
Welcome to the CoCo Nation. That's how we
Yeah,
operate
you know
normally.
us. Look, squirrel.
Squirrel.
If nobody else, I can quickly show the couple things I happen to have on my desk that I can mention. They're not new acquisitions, but rediscovered. So basically, I've been doing some work for Chronologically Gaming, kind of getting the history of some of the original releases of Coco games in 1980, 1981. And I've got a whole collection of old cassettes there. Most of them are from later time periods. But I found some old Aardvark ones that are still back there. But I discovered a couple others I didn't even know I had. So I just wanted to quickly show those. So one's Adventure International Hulk. That's the Incredible Hulk. And that's actually with the original Adventure International logo and stuff here. But this is actually just a taped over thing that says Hulk on it. And it is the original thing. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. I would have assumed they would have just made a label for Hulk, period. But
I
It's
guess
not
there's there could be another name under there.
Right?
yeah, I don't really want to take it off to find out, but I'd be surprised if they repurpose tapes like that, because I've seen some other ones where it's actually just one label and has the title, because they don't mention a specific machine on the label. It just is a generic AI, so you could reuse the labels for whatever computer you're selling it for.
I
Either generic-
imagine underneath that's Bruce Banner.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
green label as far as I can tell, but
Don't make it angry, Curtis.
Yeah.
Don't make it angry.
You might put that in lead. It could have some gamma radiation coming out of it. So you better be safe.
soothing. Next one I got here is actually called Multiscreen. Now this one is on the archive, as is the Hulk, of course. But they actually have a list of the programs that are actually on the side there. And it's actually by Incentive Software in Canada, in Ontario, which I didn't realize that's where it was from. I've seen the ads, but I kind of didn't think it was Canadian. And they actually did a fairly professional label for that too. And of course, you got copies on both sides. So that's a high-res screen utility for doing text on a P-Mode 4 screen type thing. But they've got like built-in printer dumps and sample programs of how to use all the different character string codes and stuff they got. So just happened to find those while I was going. I'm going to be checking against the archive to see if it's the same version, because I did find the archive had some older or newer ones, some of the ones I have, so I'm trying to send alternate versions up for that too. I mean, that's a couple I had just lying around here. The rest were all aardvark. It was a Mars Adventure, Voodoo Castle, I think was another one. That the games themselves weren't even on the archive yet. So that's a couple missing pieces found again. And I'm gonna have to go through my discs yet because I know I've got some in there too that are also missing on the archive.
What's
But,
the
like,
box in front of your monitor?
this?
Yeah.
That's just like checks for work. I just got the
Oh,
shipment of
okay.
business stuff.
Darn.
I thought that's where he threw the soldering iron after he lit his hair on fire.
Yeah. All right, that's all I had.
All right. Let's see. Grant, what's
All
going
right.
on with CoCo Fest?
Well, Coco Fest is coming up very, very quickly, as Mark
6
B-
weeks now.
Yeah, very quickly. So just let everybody know that we are still selling the T-shirts at the at glensideccc.myspreadshop.com. I don't know, Mark Overholzer, if you put that link in there, it'd be great.
Yep, I'll throw it up
We
there.
will not be having T-shirts at the fest. We decided to go this route because it's less of a risk for the club, and with the new venue and everything, we didn't want to, spend additional money on T-shirts to have at the show. So if you're wanting to get T-shirts, make sure you order it through that website. And just to let everybody know, right now everything is 20% off. So Curtis, this might be the time for you to bite the bullet and buy about
The
10
20% off caught my attention.
Yeah.
What's the
so,
URL again?
It is.
I'm looking.
I haven't
it up
seen him
here.
posted it. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
No, that's the general Coco Fest one. I'm looking for the spread shirt one in here.
glensideccc.myspreadshop.com.
And the turnaround when you order is pretty quick too, so you have plenty of time to get a shirt before the fest.
Yeah,
See,
these
they-
are- I got mine about 10 days after I.
Not in my case.
Probably
I got
won't be
mine pretty
mine
quick.
too, being in Canada. I'll probably get it after the fest.
Just have it delivered to the hotel and just tell them to hold it for you for a month.
Yeah, you do that too. So they have more than just T-shirts. They also have, sweatshirts, stickers, coffee
Hoodies.
cups, a whole bunch of stuff in there. So if you're not big into T-shirts, you can definitely find something else that might be of interest there to you. Second thing is we only have 4 tables left. So if you are on the fence and thinking about getting a table, you might want to do so now because there's only 4 tables left, and after that, we will be sold out. So, and then the other thing I wanted to share to you guys is we do have the schedule. Eric will be putting it up onto the website here shortly. The main thing is we will need help on Friday afternoon before 5 o'clock. So if anybody's going to be there early, let me know. Yep, Mark B. We'll need to go. You'll get to go to the VCF Midwest warehouse if you get there early and help us out too. So it might be a good way, Curtis.
Oh,
to,
yeah, hauling all the power strips over.
Exactly. So, and then vendors can start setting up 5 o'clock, and then we'll close the doors around 11:30 on Friday night. So we do have 6 presentations.
Does the hotel not have a grid, power grid?
What do you mean a power grid?
Like
Outlets.
big pile of outlets.
Yeah, in the walls.
Well,
It's
like
just
some
it
of the
was.
yeah,
it's like
some
it
of the
was
venues
last-
have like big power taps you bring out the middle of the room and then spider off of that.
Yeah, I don't think this one did, and the other one
Okay.
didn't have that either. So,
No,
so we'll be doing the same thing like we did last year. And
I
I got the
I think the other ones did. They just didn't bring it out for us.
Yeah, we should
Oh.
have had it. In fact, a lot of us had the equipment burned up because they didn't bring that thing out from the voltage sags.
So we
Oh,
saw.
really?
I saw some of the evidence that they had that they were equipped for it. They just didn't bring it out for us.
Yeah, in the November when they brought it out, it was like a breaker, looked like
Yeah.
a house breaker box with a extension cord to go into a 220 and
Yeah.
break out into big stuff.
Eh,
But anyway,
So I'll add that to the list and see if they have it. But
well,
that
no,
might be
they
something- so we might have to purchase one or rent one. So
well,
if
they
that's
might
the
not
case,
need it. I think this was just the weirdity of the last location.
yeah,
They didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of power in the walls, and so you had to use this thing.
Well, it wouldn't be something to rent. It would be custom made for their venue.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll-
they might charge for it. So
Yeah,
who
I'll
knows?
ask them and see.
Yeah, just tell them we're drawing juice.
Oh yeah, they know. They know. We and this hotel I think is newer than that other hotel as well too. So because they have a lot more outlets in that room, so which is good.
Okay.
So
Anyway.
anyways, just make sure if you also want to purchase the dinner, you have until the 14th or 15th of April. So, and then also if you were wanting to get the discounted room, the last day to book your room will be on March 31st. We've already had to extend the block twice already, and we might be doing it a third time as the rooms are, or our block keeps on selling out, which is a good thing. So, all right. Other than that, that is it.
So how much confirmed attendance have you got so far?
So confirmed attendance. Let me pull that up here real quick. So we have, well, I mean, it's hard to say because a lot of people they're not doing the actual vendors. They don't really register until like the day of or the day before. But 35, we got 35 dinners sold so far. And then 57 people confirmed so far. So, which is about where we were last year. So, because again, a lot of people don't register until like right before, and that's the other thing too. The hotel told me too that people, since the inflation and everything, they're waiting until the last minute to book everything. It seems like. So,
what was the official attendance for last year's show?
That I do not know. I don't have that information.
I think it was close to 120 from what I remember.
I was going to say, I think it's over 115ish. I thought.
Okay.
So
no, I wanted to mention, Grant, because we talked about this in private a little bit a while ago, that my name wasn't showing up on the guest list yet. I've given permission. It's still not showing up on the guest list.
Yep, and I've reached out to them. And again, the thing is, there's a lot of bugs during that system when we first put it out. So I don't know if there's a way they can add it in there or not. So I've reached out to Randy and asked him.
Okay.
So there's probably about another 15 to 20 people that aren't showing up in that list either, because when they paid for it, PayPal took their money, but it didn't kick them back over and reserve their tables or their dinner. So we had to go back and mainly do that. So I'll shoot Randy another message and see if he can get you added in there.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Not
Anything
absolutely
other
necessary,
questions?
but just wanted to see what's going on.
Well, Curtis, it'd be a better show if you didn't show up.
You think I'm buying a T-shirt now?
He has lost a sale, buddy.
You owe me a T-shirt for that comment.
So I'll try to be on every week now until the fest, which is the next 6 weeks. So
always with the threats.
Oh yeah.
Oh great.
To give everybody updates and so forth like that. But as of right now, I think the fest is going to be well. You know, we won't be having unlimited coffee, Curtis. We're trying to.
What? I'm not going at all now.
Yeah, sorry, you're going to have to walk across the street to the gas station and get some gas station coffee. So
I'll just get an IV drip and wander around like Bill Murray and wear the buffalo robe. That's what
just because with inflation, also with the higher cost of the hotel and the venue, Jim and I kind of talked, and we don't really want to waste a bunch of money until we know how this venue is going to work and how everything plays out, because we don't want to be, $3,000 or $4,000 in the hole, because that would be a bad thing, which I don't think we're going to be. We're close to that. So, but
I assume you still have like water pitchers and stuff though, right?
Oh yeah. And I think we're probably going to have at least, one giant deal of coffee each morning, or at least that. So it's just that they charge $38 for the coffee. It's crazy. You could buy a bunch of coffee for that.
Maybe I'll just bring a bag of chocolate covered coffee beans with me.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Per gallon.
Yeah, $38 a gallon. Yeah, you're right.
Gallon.
Yeah, what are the rest of you going to drink after that $38? So that's just me.
That's pretty much just you. You're the one who drinks it nonstop. But like I said, there's like 2 gas stations right there. So
that's only like 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks, $38.
So we did 15 gallons last year, right?
Yeah. And Jim and I had a heart attack when we saw that bill over $1,000. It was crazy.
So it wasn't just me though.
So
no, there's also the hot cocoa and what else do we have? Tea. I think we had tea there as well.
So maybe we need to go to Dunkin' Donuts and refill the pot.
Get some of them boxes of coffee and just
yeah. And so there's the problem, since we're at a venue, they won't let us do that. So because they want us to buy their coffee,
So we need to make a CoCo that's hooked to a Keurig and can operate it. Then it's part of the demonstration.
Yep, a little robot arm from Radio Shack. You'll load it up.
Armatron, yeah.
You sneak it in the back door and then haul the boxes back out.
Yep, exactly.
Curtis, I
Yep.
told Missy that there would be no coffee there, so she won't be going.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm in the same boat.
So that means that I have an open bed in my room. So if anyone needs a place, but yeah, she was
Well,
like,
like I said, there's gas stations just right there on the same block, so it's not that far.
It's just hard to believe that it costs as much Canadian for a T-shirt as it does for a coffee.
Oh, really? Jeez.
And then Daddy Burrito here is asking, when did coffee start costing more than gas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and just to let you know, that's pretty much standard at all hotels. They always want you to pay their inflated prices for food. I mean, if you ever get room service at a hotel, it's ridiculous. Plus, they have the service charge and all the other craziness on top of that too. So it's $38 a gallon plus 20% on top of that, plus the sales tax on top of that. So you're well over $40 by the time they're all said and done. So, any other questions or concerns or anything like that?
What are you guys making any sort of like paper copies of the seminar guide and stuff like that this year, or is this more for the website where you're getting, what's
Yeah.
their
In
seminar on?
fact, everybody will get their little envelopes with the they'll have the schedule in there and some other information as well, that you'll get a little 8.5 by 11 envelope with all that stuff in there with your badge and so forth.
Okay.
And
I'm
we're
not
still
even sure
planning, still planning to do also one drawing as well too. So for the for $50 to use at a vendor. So we'll be doing that again this year.
We should also mention, because we've been hyping it up on a few shows about the going over to the VCF warehouse to show off some of the stuff here, but it sounds like that might be limited. We're going to wait until Randy gets. Or
as soon as Jason.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'll touch base with Jason because he's also doing the auction again this year. So he sounded kind of like there might be a way we could do it in April, but he didn't want to make any promises until he knows for sure. So
yeah.
So we might.
I know some people are definitely looking forward to it, and there's some other people that are actually going to be busy probably the whole weekend elsewhere with other things.
If you can maybe get me a list of people that really want to go, and then I can let Jason know, and then we can probably get some people. Now keep in mind that the VCF Midwest warehouse is not close to this new location. It's about a 25-minute drive. So take that.
Considering we drive 22 hours to get to the thing, that's nothing.
That's true.
That's just down the street.
Now, are you driving with Ken again this year?
That's the plan.
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah, he's gonna be so brainwashed about Nitrous 9, you won't even recognize him.
He'll probably be wanting to kill himself by that time.
Right now he's still AWOL.
What are you?
Where is
in
Ken?
Vegas?
He's in Vegas.
yes, yeah, with his sister and niece.
Should we take a break? Yes. No. Yes.
Yes,
I told him don't get married because then he won't have any Coco stuff left.
So I think we'll have a good fest. I think it'll be a good time. So, and that's the other thing too. We are doing 2 auctions, it looks like, this year too. We'll have one on Saturday and also one on Sunday. So we have quite a few of auction them. So again, if you have anything that you want to donate, Terry, Brian, Ron, anything extra, you can put in the auction.
Anything you guys have more than 10 of the same thing, you can probably just give us a little bit of the leftovers.
Yeah, exactly. So
Can we auction off Grant?
That's everything.
Yeah, but who's gonna buy that, Terry? I mean, come on.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, great.
We'd have to pay somebody.
Yeah, you'd have to pay me to.
So anyway.
So anyways, Eric should be putting the schedule out later today. So I'll be looking for that on the Glen Sides website. So, all right, that's all I had. Mark, you cut your commercial.
Okay, we'll take a round Delvaux break.
Back to the studio.
The CoCo Nation Show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCo Nation Show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCo Nation.
The CoCo Nation Show would like to thank the following patrons: Alex Gayer, Brendan Donahue, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Kieran Inscombe, Daddy Burrito, Diego BF109, Dinty's Hideaway, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Glenn Hewlett, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Mike Rayburn, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Retro Tech Time, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Steege, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., Tony C., William Maything. Thank you so much, patrons.
Welcome to everybody's favorite segment, Who's New to Discord?
Ziz says, got my first CoCo, TDP 100, in 1982. Well, Dad bought it, I think for Christmas. Pushed that as far as I could. By then the CoCo 3 was out, so I upgraded. Then picked up a lot of CoCo stuff on clearance as I worked for RS from 89 to 96. Real name is John, but go by Ziz everywhere online. Spenny108 says, hello everyone, happy to be here. Just resurrected a poorly Dragon 32, it's a computer I never owned as a small boy, but I knew someone with one and played the odd game here and there. Very much looking forward to delving into the gaming archives and having some fun. I also obtained a CoCo 3 not too long ago, not had the time to get fully acquainted with that yet. My name is Spencer. Gorg says, hi folks, I just received my CoCo 2 computer today thanks to the Invisible Man. I'm happy to join the community. I'm a coder active mostly on Atari 8-bit, and hopefully also on CoCo 2. My name is Camille. The previous bios were edited for time. Thanks to Boys in Tech, Cruise Mongers, Glenside Computer Club, Nightbeard, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Tandy Color Computer 3, and the CoCo Nation patrons for boosting the server. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the welcome section to read these bios in full and see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
Because cocoing is better together.
Hello everyone, it's your good buddy Amigo Aaron and the Brent from ARG Presents. You are watching Coco. You're an idiot. I was going to say Coco Live, and I know. Hey everyone, it's your good buddy, your good pal Amigo Aaron, along with that dastardly the Brent from ARG. Didn't let me finish. You are watching CoCo Nation. It's a beauty, eh? Listen, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Hello, everyone. It's your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, joined by that dastardly the Brent from ARG Presents. You're watching CoCo Nation. I feel like that should have been longer.
That was pretty cool.
Only 7 takes.
Yeah, they're getting better than we do.
All right, ready for the high score challenge?
Sloopy?
Where did Sloopy go?
I don't know what that deafening silence means.
He's hanging on.
I guess that means no, they're not.
There he is. He just popped into existence.
If I have to, I guess so.
All right, here's your intro. Okay, Sloopy, take it away.
All right, let's see here. I guess I should probably share a screen or something. There it is.
Sharing is caring.
There, screen 2. So you see this nice, cool little screen here?
Yep.
All right. These past 2 weeks, we played. Zoom just quit unexpectedly.
We still hear you.
Yeah, we still hear you.
See you.
Yeah, I've got a window right in the middle of the.
Oh, yeah, it looks like your share froze up. Is what happened.
Time to get a new computer.
Oh, it's that Zoom update. That's a real malfunction there when I just pop up on there. It's like there's definitely a problem.
Stop using that C64.
Is it working or you froze? Oh, I see your cursor.
So Dad Burrito saying Lucifer possessed your computer because you were playing scary video games.
This is now an exorcism, not a high score list.
I will fix it in post.
Cricket
and,
channel.
And you're muted, Sloopy.
I thought he was being awfully quiet.
No wonder everyone's talking over me. There's
No,
too
so the
many
usual.
buttons. Okay, let's try this again. Take 3. For the last 2 weeks, we played Lucifer's Kingdom from Orange Software. We had 12 Poor Souls play. And,
We should mention this was originally a dragon game. So,
oh, yeah. And I'm just not going to look. I'm not going to look. In 12th place, we had Ed Rhodes with 32,910. 11th, we'd had Exile in Paradise with 50,380. Good score, Alan. 10th place, we had Coconut Bob with 100,810. 9th, Jim Rye with 153,010. 8th place, we had Mr. Dave 6309 with 157,690. 7th, we had this fool with 180,550.
he was pointing to Grant, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
I said fool, not moron.
Oh, really?
Yes, because you're more on than off. Shenley with 223,300. Sabhead with 239,180. Buck Owens, not in first for once. 321,320. I think he planned that. Brian Walsh with 979,260. And the number one poor soul this week is Tasman with 1,076,480. So
Didn't you get my score?
Huh?
I thought I submitted one. I thought I submitted a score.
Who had third place?
Maybe I messed up.
You've been expunged.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I screwed that up.
Number 3 is missing.
I definitely wasn't 3. I would be much lower than that, but
Someone doesn't know their numbers.
Hey, I
That's
know
okay.
I know my numbers well. I know my ABDs all the way up to orange.
I mean, you went all the way through the 6th grade.
Yes.
The color computer. The color computer has a
not too
ROM
late.
cartridge. The color computer has a ROM cartridge that could help you with that.
Really?
You could have a blast with a new math tutor.
Show us the listing.
Does Brian have what he can share with Sloopy?
Show us the what?
The new
Listing
math tutor.
What listing?
of this basic program you wrote there.
It's pretty basic.
probably just a bunch of print statements with the inputs, I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe number 3 is in there.
No, it's not.
It happens to the best of us.
I think we need to check your code, make sure it automatically calculates the numbers in reverse order, so you don't forget next time.
Well, actually, what I did was I put it in a spreadsheet
Text.
and then
spreadsheet.
entered it using Vim into a basic program, and then copied and pasted it into VCC. Yeah. Curtis, I'm looking through the game on, and I think you pulled a Sloopy.
No, I found it.
Oh, you did?
216,460. Back from February 23rd, so I was on the first week.
So you would have been about 6th place or so, I guess, 6th or 7th.
Yeah, probably. I would have been behind Sabed.
Yeah, I remember typing your name. I think part of the problem, I think the reason why it was an issue is because when I originally did it, I miscalculated and had a defense post error and put 11 in there when there was actually 12. And when I redid it, you got
number 3
bumped
got
out.
dropped.
Bumped.
By
Yeah,
the way, Sloopy, 6C says the problem is you're using VCC, not XROR.
Well, I would agree, except for one thing. There is one feature that VCC has that XROR does not, and that's the ability to paste basic code into the machine.
Oh, cut and paste. Yeah.
Yes. And VCC version 1 doesn't even have it. You have to use VCC version 2. But otherwise, I always use XROR. I'm always constantly recommending everyone to use XROR. People tell me to shut up about XROR because I talk about XROR too much. That was y'all's cue, but evidently you
I'm sorry, what were you talking about?
Y'all want me to continue talking about XROR because XROR is the greatest. XROR is the best thing you can get since a real CoCo.
Get the hook. Okay. Shut up about XROR.
Ask your doctor if XROR is right for you.
Yeah. So
asparagus.
So yeah, we had let's see here. I looked for information on Lucifer's Kingdom, and because I didn't look far enough, I didn't find any. But I'm sure there's some out there.
There is a review in Dragon User Magazine. I might even be able to find it if you want to vamp for a bit.
Tell you what, Sixie in the chat is saying that the current Git code has a paste ability, only in the middle button paste though.
That be a little difficult for me. I don't know what my little middle mouse button is.
Usually if your wheel has a click in it, that's usually what it is.
My wheel, when you press it, it changes from smooth scroll to clicky scroll. Maybe this button in the middle underneath the wheel is the middle button. That could be it.
Oh, also, Slippy, your check's in the mail on the e-post.
Aha. My check's in the mail for. Why am I getting it back?
Promoting
XROR promotion.
Ah, cool. I wasn't expecting it, but hey. Am I paid by the ad or by the number of times I say XROR? Because if it's by the number of XROR mentions, then I can XROR a lot of mentions about XROR. So, yeah, we had quite a few people playing it. Obviously, everybody was playing it on the Game On Challenge. The biggest thing is that it seems that the instructions for it are not very clear. Fortunately, that old internet meme of getting one's body part stuck in something didn't apply. But still, we figured out some of the mechanics of the game, but not all of them. It was a very popular game, and it did invent a new language of various bread-based products itself. And I do know where is
it's like a new chapter in the colorful language, right?
Absolutely. It's a new dialect of computer language. Yeah, here's this is an advertisement from what's DU?
Dragon User.
Dragon User, that's it. Number 69, January 1989. Over the past few months, there have been a few good, new, and fairly original games released for our computer. Here we have Bust Out, which is the title gives away as a clone of the costly arcade favorite Breakout. With games like Lucifer's Kingdom around, surely Breakout clones be sent off to collect their old age pension. So basically it's saying Lucifer's Kingdom's better than playing Breakout or Breakout clones, which I would agree with him. I did like it. It was a pretty decent game. And here's a advertisement for it. Lucifer Kingdom is a scrolling shoot 'em up game in which they have to fight through.
Are you supposed to be sharing a screen?
No, because I'm looking at the post that
that's fine.
Yeah, that Buck Owens made in the Discord, and so most of the people here have seen it, and the only people that probably haven't are the people that are in the that are listening to the podcast, and you have to
look real hard
anyway, because you can't use your earballs for reading printed word. Even though I've got the face for the voice, and the voice for the printed word. Yeah, it's they advertise it as a scrolling shoot 'em up game in which you have to fight through different planets and 5 regions in order to destroy Lucifer himself with a host of baddies trying to stop you achieving this. It was $5.99 plus 50 pence post and parcel. Evidently, Orange Software, the company that made it, had over 40 other games and utilities available now. I've never heard of Orange Software, but then I've never owned a dragon, so it's not surprising. And I'm not even going to try to decipher that address.
I have a screenshot I can show of the advertisement for it if you want.
If you'd like.
So this is
yep,
on the right hand side. You can see it. This was King of Orange Software. Actually advertised it for the Dragon 3264 and Tandy Coco, so it was actually meant for both machines on sale in the UK, which is kind of cool.
They did
never
sell
got
one
it
in
here,
two
of course.
candies.
That is an absolutely awesome address. There should be a dragon.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of what's the name of that game? Astro Warrior on the Sega Master System, or Xevious on the arcade and other platforms. Had a lot of the similar constructs where you're in open space shooting flying baddies, and then you're over top of a land mass shooting baddies while you're trying to shoot things on the ground, which I guess there's a lot of games that are that would fall under.
Actually, one thing Karen had pointed out is that it actually is a clone of a specific arcade game, which I'm just going to bring up here in a second.
Oh.
Which I did not realize myself. So let me get that loaded up. Okay, here we go.
Was it a game, an arcade game we had here in North America?
Yeah, I don't think it was that common though.
Star Force?
Yeah, released in 1984. Kind of it looks a bit like these, but it has the same floating islands and waves of ships and
expanded Xevious.
And the different planetary systems you got to go through, like the different areas, that's in there too. So it is definitely closer to this than Xevious, like I originally thought.
Oh, I like the website you found it on.
It's part of the many updates I've been doing the last couple months.
Cool. So, any tips, tricks, and recommendations for this game?
Build a rapid fire circuit.
Yeah, definitely.
Because your thumb is going to get sore playing this thing. Trying to think of some rapid fire. Try to get your bonuses. Try to get your crystals. Well, it depends if you're going for score. If you're going for exploration, if you're going for score, from what I've read in the Discord, they recommend actually don't get the crystals on the first level, because then you can go through the first level, which is the easiest, and just rack up more points shooting everything else. But because you have to collect so many crystals to get to the next level. If you're going for, this is like Popstar actually. If you're going for trying to see how far into the game you can get, then obviously get the crystals as much as you can. The one type of ship, the one that everybody complains about the most, which basically comes down, it looks like a U or something, and then it sideways shoots at you all the time. Just make sure you're moving vertically and kind of lead them so that you know where they're going to be coming out. Then you can kind of dodge them. That was one of the trick I picked up. But
yeah, the ones that come down the side and then they start coming over when they see when they're the same level.
As soon as they get the same level as you, they shoot across. So if you're moving vertically, you can avoid them pretty easily.
Yeah,
as long as there's not too much other stuff in your way at the same time, like shots and things.
Yeah. As long as you're not all the way at the bottom, they're easy to avoid. So
that'd be one recommendation.
Don't die.
I'm gonna see if I can, while you're talking about strategies, see if I can find one of the reviews of it too here. Anybody else have any tips or tricks from that, either in the chat or on the panel?
I know people played it.
It's not an easy game. It definitely is. It's fairly difficult. There, found it. So let me share a screen again. This will be one of the reviews. There's 2 reviews in Dragon. Karen maybe can explain this. There was a review in July of 1988 and another one in September of 88. So I'm not sure whether they reviewed it twice, just a couple months apart, but that's apparently what they did.
Needed content?
Could be. This was near the end of Dragon User, so.
Need to fill some space.
So this review is by Mike Stott, who I think was one of the editors. He goes, by no means just your average zap, and you can see the dragons in the lower right corner. That's how they rated it. It was 1 to 5 dragons per. Now, I'm not sure what the parentheses means on the first dragon. It's giving 4 or 5 with a parentheses. Maybe. I could be. £5.99 on cassette. You can describe the cassette case, which we can kind of skip. Goes into a bit of a explanation of how the game actually plays. I'll just give it a summary at the end here. So basically, all in all, this is a game which I really enjoyed playing and will also be enjoyed by those of you who like pure zap games. Many people will say that it's too similar to Utopia, but I found that the 2 games need completely different tactics and enjoy playing both. I would have liked to have given this game 5 dragons, but hesitate to give the maximum to a game I've not yet completed. If the rest of the game reaches the same high standard, it is certainly worth 5. And I can't remember if I've played Utopia or not, but I think that's another Xevious style Dragon original game. So
that's what the parentheses is about.
Yeah.
So it's 4.5.
Could be.
Yeah, he thinks it'd be 5 if he completed it, but if something bad happens and the game flops near the end, then he would probably give it a 4. I'll see if I can find the other review too, just to figure out why they did 2.
So in the chat, 60 was saying likely towards the end, he definitely had reviews from different people, sometimes in the same issue. He's reminded by Fire Force, which had an absolutely terrible review in one issue, and then several more forgiving ones in a later issue.
The first one was right when it comes to Fire Force. That game is freaking impossible to play.
That's what 60 says too.
I think
it was technically impressive, visually impressive, played like a dog.
Yeah, I think a part of the problem with this game is that the instructions are not exactly clear or existent.
Yeah,
because you've got like those plates for like the baseball home plate looking things that just go back and forth. What is there anything that they do besides go back and forth? And there's other things that's like you have to there's like too much to figure out in the game that is just constantly there. If you and they
do they kill you?
No, they don't.
Oh,
like the things that get smaller and smaller and then they turn into a letter. What are they doing? And
yeah,
so
that was one thing I complained about actually early on playing it too, is that there's the crystals you can figure out fairly quickly, and you've got those little bonus multipliers you can light up so you get extra points. But other than that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you shoot. There's some things that just flip around and block shots. I don't know if they have any other purpose.
Scott Cooper is saying, I'm assuming those diamonds give you 100 points every time you shoot a plate.
Yeah. But the thing is that your eyes are so focused on the game so that you don't die, because that's evidently a good thing to not die, that you can't really keep watching the score.
Evidently.
You need a co-pilot to play the game.
Maybe.
Co-pilots are for rally drivers. This isn't a rally game. So. All right. Any other recommendations or suggestions?
I just found the other review, so I'll bring it up and see what it said here.
Okay.
What page is that on? 7 and 8. Let me get over there, and then I'll share my screen once I find it. Okay. This is riveting, I know.
Well, we don't want totally dead air for the.
Yeah.
Now this one is titled "Oranges and Cream in Lucifer's Land." I have no idea what game they're playing. I don't remember any of that.
Well, it's from Orange Software, so.
And this is from the October 1988 Dragon user, so a couple months later than the first review. And he actually says, it's been a couple months since I've got around to writing a review, but at least now that ink is flowing again, I've got something to rave about. So apparently he's going to be impressed. So I'll skip to the summary paragraph if he has one here. Page 8.
There it is.
This game reminds me of Vanguard, an old arcade favorite of mine. I would say more Xevious than Vanguard. Which shows how highly I rate this game. One factor the Vanguard had is that this has is addictiveness. I can say that because while as frustrating as it is with some of the hitboxes being way too big, you do feel like you can do better, and you keep going back to it. And I saw that some of the people in the chat and the Discord were actually doing that, or even on the live stream for that matter. At first, it's a bit frustrating as you try and comprehend what's happening and how to play your role in it. But after a few plays, you become more and more determined to reach that next planet, that next region with the next life of the next game. There seems to be quite a few good new games about at the moment, and this is certainly one of them. If you've got a joystick in need of exercise, that's an understatement. It's checking the post time, because to conclude with a totally abysmal pun, this orange is a juicy one. Haha. So, yeah, both of them gave it absolutely glowing reviews. And I have to say, it's actually quite a good game, even from a technical. It's got smooth scrolling, vertical graphics, and decent sound effects for what you're trying to do with shots and explosions, etc. And a lot of different elements to it. A lot of different alien ships and various things that you can shoot and get power up type things. I think they're power ups. I'm not sure. But the documentation is lacking. I've actually took the scans of it on the World of Dragon archive, and there's not much there. It doesn't explain what any of that extra stuff does, which is the one disappointment I had. The game itself is pretty good. I tried playing at double speed, CoCo 3 speed. It's a little bit too unmanageable. So if you thought you had to fire fast in the first round, wow, try it on CoCo 3 speed. Wow. So Kieran, I'm not familiar with Utopia, and I noticed you said I personally side with the original. I probably shouldn't comment on Utopia. Go ahead and comment on it. I'm kind of curious as to what you think the main differences between those two. But yeah, it was a pretty good game, and the fact that they sold it for the CoCo in the UK, and this is a couple of years after the CoCo got discontinued in the UK, to be honest, because when the CoCo 3 came out, they pretty well quit selling it. They didn't sell the CoCo 3 in the UK at all. And Nick, I'm presuming you never saw this game in Australia either?
Nah, I don't see it.
And like an equivalent, so we would have had here the original CoCo 1 and 2 version of Xeneon, which we've never seen. We've only seen the CoCo 3 when Dicom sold it. But the original version sold in Australia actually ran on the CoCo 1 2. I'm imagining it'd be similar to this. And then Spectral Associates had Devious, which is a Xevious clone, which is probably the closest other one I can think of to this. I'll wait for the chat to catch up in case Kieran has any further tips and tricks on it here, since he's obviously played it a lot more than we have. Oh, I should mention, this is one that accidentally does have artifacting colors. Obviously, the Dragon did not have artifacting colors, at least not the same way we're used to. So it was designed to be a black and white game, which is how I played it. And my screenshot for my score was in black and white. But if you look at all the screenshots from other people, it actually did use kind of a crosshatch style or alternating pixels. So it actually comes out with some orange and blue during gameplay. So it actually accidentally has NTSC artifacting in it. Not by design, as far as I know. Okay, Mike Miller in the chat. He says Utopia is poor, kind of like a weird Egyptian non-isomorphic Zaxxon, but it plays like a dog.
I don't know. I've never played with a dog.
You've never played with a dog?
I didn't say play with a dog. It plays like a dog.
It's like a dog.
Oh,
plays fetch.
So imagine you run around barking, chasing frisbees and bumpers of cars.
Hey,
All right, I don't think there's anything much more to say. It's actually a decent game. If you've never tried it, I would give it a shot. Joysticks required, 32K of RAM. Doesn't need 64K. I personally prefer it on black and white, but you'll get some artifacting if you're playing like an RF or a composite on an NTSC machine.
Yeah, I'd definitely put it in my top 50 favorite games for the CoCo.
what year did you say it came out?
88.
Oh, so it's one of the later ones.
Yeah. And based on an arcade game that came out in 84. So was that Mark or somebody was saying something?
Yeah, totally off topic, but it's like, what does the dog think it's going to do if it catches the car?
It's going to put a bumper up in its trophy room.
right.
You know, they're always chasing cars. What are they planning on doing when they catch it?
Biting it. Yes, my parents had to pay people for our dog biting their car and putting teeth holes in the sheet metal.
Now Scott Cooper's asking in the chat. He said there's no video of Lucifer playing. I'm sure you have some you could play, Sloopy, from the live stream, right?
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Just for those that can't catch the live stream there and want to kind of get a visual description of what we're actually talking about. I think you can kind of show the other game that's going to be continuing on this next week, which is Aerial, one of the Inafuto Japanese cross-platform engine ones, which I've actually mentioned to the Tier City Trash Talker people here. So maybe we'll get them to do a quick review, because I think 8 of the 11 games they've done, those multi-platform ports, are actually on the Model 1 as well, which I didn't realize until I looked. So for those of you who have Model 1s and 3s and 4s, etc., that you might be able to try some of the Aerial stuff on there as well.
Try this again. Hopefully I won't crash.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Yeah.
so last week's game on challenge was so good, it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
And I think the upper right corner, if I remember, that's me running at a double speed, and the ones on the other ones you see playing there are running at regular speed. And I didn't last too long doing that, so I didn't keep that going.
Yep. It's
a pretty good attempt at a vertical shooter, really.
Yeah, it's even got kind of multi-planar graphic. Now, that's not the right terminology, but I'm trying to think of.
Well, like sprites.
No, but we have the backgrounds going 2 different speeds because the star field's going at a different speed.
Oh, the star field, yeah.
Parallax scrolling, that's what I'm trying
Parallax scrolling, yeah.
Brain farted there.
So that would have came out about the time of
Xenon.
Xenon on the CoCo 3. Yeah.
I think a little bit earlier. Didn't Xenon come out in 89? Well, maybe in Australia came out earlier. Because it was sold there for a few months before Dicom got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have been competitors, actually.
So here's 4 people playing at once in different places of the game.
What's the sound effects like?
They're pretty basic, but serviceable.
And here we have Curtis playing Aerial.
Yeah, CoCo 1 and 2 version in that particular case.
This Aerial being the Sky type, not the Mermaid type.
Yeah. Also, for those of you with MC10s, Aerial, there's a version for that for the MC10 too that runs in high res. You'll need a 20K RAM upgrade or higher, like say the MCX 128 or the MCX SD 32 SD. I can't remember what it's called.
The MCX 32 SD.
Thank you. Or you can play it on a CoCo 1 or 2 with at least 32K RAM, or a CoCo 3 with 128K. In fact, if you fast forward, I think I switched to the CoCo 3 one at some point.
Yes, you
which
did.
actually has pretty improved graphics, to be honest. Yeah, there. That's CoCo 3 one.
Yeah.
You get planes of different colors, like the ones that come from behind you are purple, and the ones that come in front of you are green. Some of the designs of the missiles and the artillery on the bottom there is quite more detailed too. So it's a nice little cross-platform. I mean, these are generic engine stuff. I think the engine's called CATA, C-A-T-A. I don't remember what that stands for. So on a machine like the CoCo that doesn't have dedicated sound hardware, like if you play some of the ones that do have dedicated sound chips, you'll actually hear like multi-voice music playing the whole time you're playing. For the ones that just have built-in raw sound, it's just basically sound effects. When you shoot or kill something type thing, it plays a little single voice ditty at the beginning when you start the game type thing. But it's got pickups, like you can get free men if you shoot certain things. You've got bosses, you've got the big blimps, and on later levels you start getting more than one blimp at a time. This is one of the ones where the Inafita ones where actually it scales difficulty pretty well. So definitely, if you haven't tried it this first week, since it's going to be one of the games featured for the next week as well, I would definitely download it and take a look at it. If you go in our Discord, Mr. Dave has patched the CoCo 1 and 2 version, I believe, to run with the joystick controls instead of the standard keyboard controls that are built in. And you got two different options for keyboard controls too. You can use the arrow keys, space bar to fire, or you can use IJKL, I think, and then the space bar to fire. So you got a couple of options there. But this is the end of the Lucifer's Kingdom for the last 2 weeks. And definitely, if you didn't get a chance to try it out these last 2 weeks, I'd definitely download and give it a shot. It's actually a pretty intense game. There's a lot of new stuff coming as you get further and further into the game. You'll keep seeing new things. So it's a bit of an exploratory game, kind of like Popstar was the week before. And nice, parallax scrolling.
So basically what you're saying is that I picked a really good game.
Yep, it is a good game.
Yeah,
the
that's not a
hitbox
bad
on
game.
that shape we just saw in the upper left corner there, I don't know if anybody caught that, but the little U horseshoe shape things, it's a little bit too wide. I mean, you'll die without it actually looking like you actually got touched.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
just remember that when you see next week's game.
are you picking another one like that?
No.
It was a threat.
I am picking one of my most favorite games for the CoCo.
Scripts
It 2.
All right, are we ready to reveal next week's game?
It's spectacular.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. If people paid attention, they would already know what game this is. So
You're talking about
Poltergeist.
this is the game.
Oh, that's a craptacular one.
Is that some kind of Australian knockoff?
Yep.
I think the machine crashed. We're just seeing a screenshot of a crash with
bingo?
random colors, right?
And you're going to do Neutroid 2 or Neutroid 2015, the new one, though the later one, 2015. Yeah.
Well, Nick, this is the re-release you did, so it actually would play, so you could see your score and stuff on the CoCo 3 because of the way some
On a CoCo 3, yeah. And
Did you change the
I did
gameplay at all, any?
I did a bit because it was a bit harder originally. So
we recommend for everybody to be on the same level playing field, especially CoCo 3 users. We should use the new one.
everyone should use the 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
This runs on the CoCo 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, because everyone should use a 2.015 because that is the actual game for the Game On Challenge this week, not the older one.
But I didn't want people to get confused and just hear the word Neutroid, go grab the old one by accident without really paying attention, and then wonder why they can't score as good.
It's freely downloadable off my website. So
yep.
Now, Nick, did you ever convert this one to the Dragon? In case any one of the Dragon viewers want to try it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I need to check that. Yeah, I don't know.
If not, Kieran, would you have any free time in the next day or two to quickly hack one together? Because you're getting pretty good at that.
Actually, did I put joystick control into this version?
I don't have a clue.
I can't remember now. Roll down. There's a list of things I did on the page. Yeah, down there. What do I do? Graphics.
Removable keyboard control system replaced with joystick. Yes, you're right.
So that should work on a Dragon. Yes.
Okay. Except maybe entering your initials. Do you have that in there?
Yeah, I haven't played it in a while. I can't remember, but that would still work. I mean,
Well, it's a
you
pretty
just press
forgettable
enter.
game, to be honest. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey. It's an intelligence test.
Yeah, if you're intelligent,
fail.
you don't play this stupid game. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Curtis.
Yep.
Here's a question for you. How many times have you played this game?
Too many.
Too many. And
Which means greater than one.
How many is that?
This is an ongoing joke between Nick and I because this game, the instruction stuff are so obtuse at the beginning. A lot of people didn't
They're
get
not
it.
there. They're very detailed, actually.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I think it's a great game.
Actually, it's after Nick explained it to me off the original version. Like it was a bit more complicated keyboard controls. I've kind of gotten used to it myself. So
yeah, I mean,
it is a fast one.
I figured out how to play it without reading the directions, and once I read the directions, I got even better at it. I mean, I liked it. That's why.
Because at first I thought it was like Reactoid, the Radio Shack cartridge type thing, and it's got some similarities, but no, not quite.
Well, it plays with the atomic nuclear concepts, I guess. But apart from that, that's as
actually you can
close
see
as it gets to
on
it.
your list of updates here, Nick. You have improved documentation. I developed a new set of instructions to more clearly convey the game concept because the original was a bit obtuse. Sorry. I reduced the text of the original and incorporated a screenshot pointing out what everything is. There's also a YouTube video guide on how to complete grid 1. See link below. So
Yeah, down
if
the
you
bottom,
do
it
get
just goes
confused, go
down.
check that out.
It's just down the bottom of the screen, isn't it?
Yep.
Or you can tune in Thursday for the Game On Challenge live and watch people play and ask questions.
Yep. Sloopy will explain it to you since he actually likes the game.
That's right. He's the pro.
Yeah.
I don't know about being the pro. I mean,
Well, pro at explaining how to play it because you obviously know how to play it.
I know how to play it. It doesn't mean I'm a pro.
Now, this was, or Neutroid 2 was my very first CoCo game.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my very first one I did back in 1984, I think it was. After
And based on
moving
a Model
over
1-3 game you did before that.
Yeah. So Neutroid 1 is on, the Model 1. So this was my first CoCo 2 game, or CoCo 1 game. And one of the things I wanted to do was to make it colorful, because even back in the day, I thought the color computer needed more color and made a lot of noise. So it's
Yeah, the sound effects are really good in this one. I will give you credit there. They are
yeah.
good.
So it has good sound, good graphics. And back then, when I was young and I actually had reflexes, I wanted a fast game. So it does speed up a fair bit. So I don't know, maybe it'll be a bit hard for us nowadays. But with the joystick, it does make it a lot easier. Back then, it was only the 4 arrow keys. And nowadays, when I try to use that old version, my fingers just tie up in my fingers just scramble up. I just can't do it. But joystick makes it a lot better.
See? Easy to
Anyway.
See how
We can go
self-explanatory
through
this
this
is? I have no
next
idea
week.
what's going on.
Okay, you see the white thing going around?
Oh, the white thing is what you control.
Yeah, the white thing is what you control, and what you're doing is the green bits on the side are what you're trying to get, but you have to go off there and grab them when they're in line like that.
Hey, green
At
things
the
on the
top and
bottom and the
bottom.
top, not the things on the
Yeah,
side shooting. Right?
Not the side. The ones at the side, just avoid them.
What about the blue ones? What are those?
They chase you. Yeah. Basically, you control that white particle on the grid, and you can go up, down, left, right. Just basically running around on the grid, avoiding the blue things and avoiding the laser things on the sides. And your goal is to leave the grid and hit the those dots at the top and bottom.
Yeah.
And one by one, you knock them all out. And
Yeah,
once you've knocked
I just
them-
saw he didn't get them all, but the game ended. Did he die or did he complete a level or what happened there?
You have a certain amount of energy to do things, and you lose energy when you hit the bad guys, the blue ones going around, or if you go off the side to get a nucleus and there isn't one there.
Okay. Now there's also orange dots on the bottom and top.
Yeah,
Most of
so
them are
the
green, but
orange
there's orange.
ones-
What are those?
Those are like power pellets. When you get one of them, you can you can neutralize the baddies. You can
Blue
go
ones, yeah.
go right
Think
to
of Pac-Man. Think
Yeah.
of Pac-Man, yeah. If you
It's like
get the
kind of like
orange
a power
ones,
pellet. You become immortal, or what happens?
Yeah.
no, it gives you more energy, and you can actually wipe out the blue ones by running into them. But then that only lasts for a short time, and then it reverts back, and then you've got to avoid the blue ones again.
Oh, okay.
But basically, the goal is you've got to knock out all the dots that are scrolling in the top,
Orange
the
and
bottom,
green. You have to knock them all out.
orange and green, and you have to leave the grid that you move on, and time it right so that when you leave it, you hit a particle, and then you bounce back into the grid. If you don't hit a particle, you hit the radiation shield on the outsides, and you die.
So the radiation shield's that thing that's blinking through colors right now?
Part that's glowing, yeah, that's radiation shield.
Okay. See how self-explanatory this is, folks? I'm being as sarcastic as heck
It's
here.
very easy. Read the effing manual.
Yeah. No, actually, it is a fun game. Once Nick explained it to me, because I tried reading the original version of the manual and I just got lost.
It is a fast game, so I don't know how people are going to handle it, because back in the day when I did release it, I remember I went big time and actually posted a advertisement in one of the Australian CoCo magazines, and I was hoping I would sell lots of copies of this, and I think I sold 0. Actually, I know I sold 0. It just didn't sell. People like Curtis, they just didn't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a fizzer, and I almost left the CoCo market there and then. And then I thought, well, look, I'll give it one more crack, but this time something a little bit less abstract. And that's what
Which
I
was
did.
Donut Dilemma, wasn't it? Yeah, and that one actually
Donut
became your
Dilemma.
best-selling game of all
And
time.
that
I
one
think.
did, and that's because of that I stayed with the CoCo, and here I'm still here. Actually, when you hit the radiation grid at the top, I said before you die, you don't die. You do bounce back again, but you lose a lot of energy in the crash. Yeah.
Yep. See, it's really easy. I mean, I just got 6,000 points there.
Yeah.
Even
So if you're
beat me.
playing this on the Dragon, it should work because of the joystick controls, but you will
It
probably
should
get
work,
gibberish
yeah.
for your name when you try to type in your name for high score.
Kieran, if Kieran's still online, go to my website, download it, try it on your Dragon. It's there. You can just download it, try it, and you can report back to us. That title is meant to be flickering a bit smoother, but Discord
Yeah, that's
isn't
just the frame
showing it
capture
properly.
over the web.
I like the way it looks.
Yeah, on your end,
it
it looks good, Slippy. Here it doesn't. It looks like it's just blinking between
Yeah,
random
here
junk
it's
and
Discord is too slow a frame rate.
Wrong.
And there, I noticed I said press S to start. S may not work on a Dragon.
Yeah,
So
be a
whatever
different key.
so hunt around whatever the Dragon uses as an S key, or the translation is, that'll start it. So
Just mash the keyboard with your fist.
Yes.
yeah, just press every key. You'll find whichever key is meant to start it.
I don't know if you saw that, Nick, but 6 in the chat says homework.
Yeah, homework. Yeah, your mission.
So everyone understands how to play the game.
Piece of cake.
I mean,
Yeah, you move the thing from the other thing down the other thing, but avoid
Don't
that.
hit the certain things, but get the other things, and then yeah.
Don't die. Same
Avoid the
rule in every game.
whatchamacallits.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I don't want to see a score that's under like 4,000 because I just showed you how to play and I showed you how easy it is. And I haven't played this since September.
You
Anyway,
say it like
free
it's a bad
download on
thing.
nickmarentes.com. For
Yes.
those who want to give it a shot. I think it's also in the
It
archive
is.
too, I presume.
Yeah,
I
Worth
think it
every
is.
penny.
I don't know about. Yeah, well, it should be. I guess it's a free program, so it should be there. But if not, yeah, just go to my website, scroll down the bottom part is where all my free stuff is, and you'll see Neutroid 2015.
Yep. And 32K, Coco 1, 2, or 3, and joystick is a minimum requirement.
Is it 32K? I can't remember. I thought it was. The original worked in 16.
Was that on cassette or disc though? I thought on disc it needed
No.
32. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. It's entirely possible.
I can't remember now. Jeez.
Let's see here. Oh,
It's always nice having the author on here not having a clue about his own game.
That's the problem when you keep writing games. You get them all mixed up as you go.
Yeah, and also just as a side note.
Oh no, 16K. You're right. Even with the disc drive,
There we
16K.
go.
It,
16K, yep.
That's what you told me in 2015.
Yeah, it also works in XROR, which is what we were showing, which was what I'm
good.
showing it working in.
Yeah, it works on MAME for sure because that's how I took the screenshots. I presume it would work in VCC, the latest version.
Yeah, it works.
Well, actually, I guess I could try it now. And now that XRAW, I'm running XRAW, I can test, I'd run XRAW as a dragon and see if it'll load Neutroid.
There we go.
You should.
Yeah, I think 60 would still have to make a cassette or a disc image, though, wouldn't he? Because the disc format on a dragon's totally different than a CoCo.
Yeah. See,
yeah, maybe, yeah.
So 60 already has full instructions in chat here.
Yeah, so say check chat.
Looks
It
like
Actually, 60 just said in the chat here. So download a CoCo disc image, deck B copying and trying the bin in a dragon, C to start instead of S. Appears to work with the joystick just fine. The
There
disc
you
image
go.
will not work as is, so he'll have to make a dragon custom one.
Yeah.
Or one of his fat binary ones where he has both versions on the same disc image.
Oh, well, 60, if you do that, send us a copy and I'll update my download.
I think the dragon people like it when we do some of these games where the author's here and they can fix them up for the dragon because then they get free new software they haven't had for years.
Yeah. Karen, if you can post it in the Game On Challenge, and then people can use that also for submitting official scores.
No, it's a
And
good pick, actually.
You got an hour left, Kieran, before the show ends. So hurry up.
Only an hour?
Yeah, it's a short news week this week. So,
All right, is that it for Game On?
That's it.
Okay, let's take a
commercial break. Come back with the double whammy of news.
profit taking. Sure, here we go.
Hello, this is Mark Siegel, product manager for the Color Computer product line and designer of the Tandy Color Computer 3. And I'm proud to be a citizen of the CoCo Nation.
Shall we play a game?
Making games for the CoCo for over 35 years. Go to my CoCo Games website at www.nickmarentes.com for information and pricing of my later games, as well as downloads of many of my older games.
Coco 2's got personality, lots of practicality, fun, it's sensational, learn it's educational. Coco 2's expandable, so easily commendable. It's programmable, so term exam grammable. Just you and Coco 2 do what you want to do.
CoCo 2, the color computer with personality from Radio Shack. Sale price for Christmas giving from $149.95.
Radio Shack's Coco 2, do what you want to do. Just you and Coco 2.
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC-10, and all of their hardware cousins. No matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCo Nation News with L. Curtis Boyle.
Okay, we'll start with a game on news. What's that? Go ahead.
Sorry. I thought there was a version with your hair on fire. Wasn't there last week? Anyway, doesn't matter. No,
It'd be more accurate.
I thought we had that last week or the week before. When did I see that?
If only there was a recording of this program that you could look back on demand on the internet. If you really wanted to.
Anyway,
that was the version when we had the special guest. That never happened.
This one he just
okay.
Anyway.
Okay, so first of all, a bunch of Jim Gary stuff here. So for the MC-10. So it came from the West. Now we did this game here for the CoCo that Erico had done, and it's a semi-graphics game that he's actually planning on entering on one of the programming contests for basic, and to basically run around a city with zombies and stuff, and you got to get things. So Jim, of course, in the span of a week, ported it, actually less than a week, ported it to the MC-10, and for extra speed, he's actually compiled it using Greg Dion's MC Basic compiler as well. So we'll play a little bit of that so you can kind of get an idea for the game. And I can't remember what all these different things here, but you drive a car between buildings and you have to get keys and all kinds of stuff. The music's not included. I should mention that. But it actually runs at a better clip than the CoCo version did because of the compilation. So that's one. The next one he did is one called Fall, and this is from a book. Originally for the Atlas, the French clone of the MC-10, the first generation Atlas, because of course the later Atlases went way beyond the MC-10 and beyond the CoCo in some cases. And this was a programming book that had 20 different games or 20 different programs in it. So he converted this one called Fall. And as he notes on the very bottom of the screen, you can see where I paused, it says this is the original version, which means, of course, he's got another version we'll be playing shortly. He's even got the original French. And it's kind of a paddle game, kind of like Kaboom or Avalanche or Popcorn or something like that. Now, because you're controlling it with the keyboard, you obviously can't move across fast enough to catch things, which is something I think he improved on a little bit on the version that he does. So that's the original one. So let's bump ahead. And I'll skip over to here. So this is what he calls Popcorn. So he's changed the game a bit here. Actually, no, I guess I got to do a little real first. So this is a little bit different, though. You can see the paddle's a fair bit higher, which kind of inspired him to decide, this is kind of like a popcorn style game, like Steve York's for the CoCo cartridge. So we actually did end up doing the port, and once again compiled. I actually called the Popcorn in tribute to Steve. But you can see you got the three paddles here. Now he's got the paddles staying on here. So Popcorn, every time you let one go all the way through to the bottom, you actually lose one of the paddles to make it more difficult. But he does have different skill levels here. Oops, I think I went a bit too far. where you start getting multiple ones falling at the same time, which makes it a lot more difficult because, like, again, with the keyboard controls here, you can't, like an analog joystick, you can actually like, whip from left to right really fast. And here you actually got to wait for the thing to move over, so you will miss them if they come from opposite sides of the screen. And here's level 3, where we've got 3 popcorn bits falling at once. But I mean, it plays a pretty good clip. You also notice that on the level 3 here, the paddles are much narrower width-wise, so it's actually harder to catch them. So, especially with keyboard controls, I imagine this would be very difficult compared to the analog joysticks. This is one game that on the CoCo, it really required the analog to play properly. Next up, we've got Paul Shoemaker working on another game. This is a side project for him, so it's not like one of his mainstay games. It's a platform game, as you can see on the screen here. It's called CoCo Ladder. And it's inspired by a game that was originally written for CPM using the text screen called Ladder. So it uses some like text characters, basically. It's using a 32 by 16 text screen without semi-graphics except for the title screen. But it does a bunch of little animation tricks like Jim is famous for doing on his MC10 game. So I'll play a little bit of that. Actually, I'll play the whole thing because it's only 38 seconds or something. You're the little spinning bar thing, and you have to, like, you know, hop up ladders and run across platforms and don't get killed. He's got some of his sound routines, his multi-voice sound routines you can see or hear.
It's pretty good for text
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Little bouncing, you know, the semi-graphic blocks actually looks pretty decent.
I can see a Jim Gary 2 coming up. Paul.
Yep. Actually, this is a game that with Greg Dion's compiler, you may not be able to get the sound routines to sound like that, but you might be able to duplicate the game in BASIC. So Jim might actually port this after Paul's done. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next up, for those of you who have not seen the Amigos CoCo show on Twitch, the YouTube version of this month's episode, which is episode 41, is Module Man. So I'll play a little bit of their little humorous banner at the beginning that I'll show a little bit later on. We can actually see the game playing.
It's 21st Century Module Man on the CoCo
quiet.
Show, episode 41.
So let's fast forward to some actual gameplay. Now, they actually are playing the Dragon version here. The CoCo version switches screen modes between different screens, between the green color set, the white color set, and then also the P mode 4 artifacting color set. So you get 4 different sets of colors, or 3 different sets of colors. The Dragon version kind of skips the artifacting one because it looks like a bit of a mess. So this is kind of the customized one. Now, this is one of the games that Spectral Associates put out on their own after they started selling stuff through Radio Shack. And this one actually supports sound speech pack. So if you have a sound speech pack and a multi-pack of some sort, you can actually get speech. They did not put any sound effects that I remember into this game, which is a bit of a disappointment. They could have. But the gameplay is basically, single screen platformer, I guess you'd call it. There's 15 screens, and you actually have to get something and bring it back to the king that you will see at the beginning of the game. So back up here.
Made such an impression on me that I did not remember it.
Yeah, me and Bud actually played Module.
So you start the game here in front of the king, who gives you this quest if you read the manual to go get a certain item and bring it back to him. And then you have, this is one game that could be patched to run a dual button joystick, would be a much big improvement. Because basically you use the button to fire your little missile projectiles to kill some of the things that you have to face later on in the game. But you also have to try to get in and out of these doors. You're allowed to run over them, or you have to stand still and then push up to go through a door. And this, if you had a second button just to, operate the doors, it'd be a much easier game, because it's a bit frustrating when that kind of stuff doesn't work properly. So, but here's a couple of screens. You can see some of the things. There's little, point-based things like rings you can pick up. There's keys you need for certain doors, different colors of keys.
And then a whole different outfit releasing from the Dragon. So let's talk about
If you fall too far, you die.
First with the the American
But
side
actually,
first,
you lose
then the
energy
British
because you have an
side.
energy
So
bar on the top, so you can die quite a
over
few
in
times.
the States, this was published by my favorite outfit, the Spectral Associates. Boat.
You like them even more than
And some of the shapes it got, like, it's kind of a medieval castle with a king, and then you've got tanks driving across the screen. So it's kind of weird hodgepodge of different items that are either trying to kill you or you have to pick up. So anyway, you can watch the video for witty banter and more full review of the game. You get to see quite a few of the screens in the game as well. I'm trying to remember. I think we have covered this one on the Game On Challenge, haven't we?
I
Or
can't
have we
remember.
not? I can't remember if we have it or not. But it's a nice one. It's 32K RAM joystick. Basically, it's 15 screens, so you get a lot of variety. If you play the CoCo version, you'll get different color sets too.
How could you forget those colors?
Well, this is the Dragon version. The CoCo version has the standard black background, and well, no, it sometimes has white and green too. But
at least he didn't make the sky all purple.
Yeah, like say Puya.
Yeah.
Oh, did Amigos Retro Game just showed up in the chat too?
They did.
It was better than 10 Super Bowls. Well, not really. Thanks for the commercial for ARG Presents, by the way. That latest one, that was hilarious. Next up, now we covered this last week. I'd noticed this page on YouTube has been just cranking out 30 to 40 second quick gameplay clips of a bunch of Dragon games. And he's actually completed the Dragon now as of this week, and he's on to the next system. So he's got 400 different videos. And we played a couple last week, the ones he's kind of finished here. There's a few more that I've never seen before. Like Green Megabug. I've played Megabug, obviously, but Meteorite Patrol, I don't think I'd seen that one before. Millipede, which is actually a racing car game, kind of. Mind Out, I don't think I've seen before.
Miser's Dream.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to pick one to play as a quick little clip. Miser's Dream.
See what Miser's Dream is, yeah.
I'll pay sound on this one. So you got coins coming out of a bag there, which you can bounce around with your little guy on the bottom. I assume you have to get it into the piggy bank. I'm not sure how all the other stuff works.
So what do you control?
I think you control this thing here. It turns into a circle when you stop, or it can be a little, is that a rocket or something? I have no idea.
Whatever. Oh, well.
Karen, if you played this one, let us know. Because it's a bit of a bizarre one.
Yeah, the coins can roll with each other, so you can get some really weird things going on.
But yeah, there's quite a few cool things. I mean, a lot of these we've seen before. There's a few that he played with artifacting on, so I don't know if he was trying to simulate a Dragon 64 NTSC Tano one, or if he just screwed up on the emulator and picked the wrong one. Oh, here, how about a semi-graphics Moon Patrol?
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
SG4 even. Not a bad attempt, though. I can see Jim Gary porting this one. I think it's actually written in BASIC, too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Actually,
Jim
he might
Gary
have already
could do
ported this now that I'm thinking about it. I think he did do this one.
Yeah, Jim Gary should look at doing this if he hasn't already.
Yeah, I think he has, though, honestly. I think I do remember seeing this.
Give him 20 minutes. He'll have it done.
Yeah, I'll have it done by the end of the show. Mutant Wars, that was one I had not seen before. North Sea Action, I think we did. Number Chase, that's kind of an educational game. There's Olympia, their version of the Olympic Decathlon style game. Aussie, I remember we did play on one of the other Dragon marathons we went through. Pac-Man in Semi-Graphics 4, another one. Phaser. There's a few basic games in here too, actually, as well as some machine language ones. Pitman
What's
is
the
one actually
pinball
that Jim
one?
Gary did originally.
Pitman, oh yeah.
Here's that Qbert clone that actually has different layouts of Semi-Graphics 24. That one actually is pretty impressive. I wouldn't mind trying that one on the Game On Challenge. Prospector is actually a rainbow game originally. Pub Crawl, that's what Kieran's doing right now. He's having beer, so. Some Red Minis, which is a 3D Pac-Man. That one was kind of cool. I remember we tried that one. Here's one we have covered on the Game On Challenge before. That was Stuart Orchard's Revenge of the Alien Bongo Beast in the Chrissy Crossy Lines dimension, I believe is the full title. Rollerball, I think we showed that one. He's actually got artifacting turned on for this one, which it normally would have just been black and white, but that's a kind of a 3D perspective one. The two different, Battle Zone clones. Sea Dragon with artifacting turned on. Shaft, I think we played that one before too. Shape Up, this is kind of a weird basketball game, I think. I'd never seen
There's
before.
another Shanghai game.
Yep. Yeah. Kind of stylized off the Mac version. Why you have alligators? I think that's an alligator playing basketball. I have no idea.
It looks like one, yeah.
I'm presuming this is a basic game too.
Yeah, it looks it.
And looking at this, Nick, you can probably identify this better than I could, but this looks like he's using PAL artifacting to get these extra colors. Where he's changing.
Yeah.
Like, kind of look on the edges here. I'm seeing
Getting-
cyan, magenta, cyan, magenta. So I'm assuming he's
Looks
doing
like
the-
it could be a combination, yeah, of a
and
cyan.
even the
and
alligator, I
magenta.
think, is combining a couple of things. So, like you didn't
Yeah.
Donut Dilemma on the PAL version. You had 6 colors on a 4-color screen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm presuming
yeah.
that he's doing the same thing here. Even if the game itself's not
Fun.
that good, it's impressive he's using the PAL artifacting. Anyway, there's 400 videos here to go through. So if you want to check out some of them you'll recognize from the CoCo. Some of them you'll recognize, but they'll be in completely different color sets than the CoCo. And there's some others that are unique to the Dragon, including some we've never really shown on the show before. So quite a bit of stuff on there. And he didn't cover every Dragon game, I don't think. Just a good chunk. Spy Against Spy. Quite a few Defender Scramble type clones. There's the Bouncing Boulders clone. Anyway, a lot of good stuff. I wish he'd done some longer videos for some of these. 'Cause some of these have
the Supermoto, the one you're highlighting now?
I think that's a basic one too, if I remember. Yeah, so you're on a bike, but you can jump over things or you can shoot them. So it's kind of like reverse Moon Patrol, sort of. Except one thing
Yeah,
at a
that's
time.
what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay.
A little bit choppy though.
Yeah.
I think the sound effects have a cold.
Yeah. Super Kid, which has that really not quite what I'd call parallax scrolling, but kind of in spirit.
Oh,
We
that
got
was
the
a
ground
machine
scrolling
code
at one
program.
speed and the what's that?
Oh, that one's not in BASIC.
No, that's an ML. This actually is speech synthesis, though he didn't record that. Because the guy actually sings Super Kid or something like that. I can't remember the exact tune, but nice smooth scrolling. I mean, he did a pretty good job on that.
Yeah, he's done a good job with the colors as well. The good design.
Yeah. Was a game I tried once. I didn't know what I was doing. So I kind of didn't
You
play
gotta
it too
read
much,
the
but it's one I
manuals.
should go back to. This is Ziggy. This is a Spectral Associates game based on Star Wars. Anyway, lots of good stuff. There's 400 different games to take a look at, and most, if not all of them, are on the World of Dragon archive, worldofdragon.org. So if you want to go grab them and try them out, quite a few of them have been ported to the CoCo or are on the CoCo itself. So if you find a couple that look interesting, you actually go on the Color Computer archive and probably find most of them there too. So if they're keyboard controlled, you might have to worry about the differences between the way the keys are interpreted. So that's it for the game on stuff. I could go through that particular page for hours. Oops. I'm going to switch over to the other one and bring it up to the bottom of my screen so I can see it. Okay, so TRC Retro Programming has been posting multiple updates to his Exploring Basic. So we talked about last week, he was trying to do a base 10 to base 5 conversion program and was having some difficulty. And a guy that owns a Commodore 64 actually gave him a quick little program from that basic to do basically what he would wanted. So he kind of goes through and explains how it works, etc. I won't play that here because that's a little bit boring to put on a live show, but got it working at any rate. And then he's been doing more stuff using P-Copy to have smoother and faster animations of his character in his Tales of Suburbia. So he did 2 update videos here to kind of show. Now, some of the stuff's still work in progress because he's basically having to rewrite the entire engine based on this. So you're only going to catch, little bits and pieces here. But if you guys remember what the old one ran at, it's definitely a lot slower than it is now. It's kind of an interactive graphic adventure game.
Oh, that one, yeah.
But the movement's a lot faster. It doesn't flicker as much. And now, one thing he explains in one of the 2 videos he did is that his original version, he actually had it so you could walk up and it wouldn't let you walk through the bed. And that he's having to change all of that because of the way it's changing the way the actual program works. So, and then he did one other update here, which is basically the same situation here.
If that, so we're in the hallway, and this is stage 2 part 2. Stage 2 part 1 is the other part of the hallway.
And this is going to be a cassette-based game with multiple load points for different parts of the game.
A bathroom, and your own. And if we pass this part.
Now, one thing he's been asking is how to do masking. Background masking. Like you'll see the green square here because when he originally drew his little sprite character, it was on a green screen. I have actually got a little demo program showing him how to do it. It's using get and put with some options like and for background mask and or for the foreground, which works. And Stevie's demoed it on his running through the basic extended basic manual a couple of years back. Unfortunately, every time I try to post a link to it so he can get the disk image to try it, YouTube eats the comment. So any comments I leave with links on his page don't show up. They show up for 2 seconds when I, tell YouTube to accept the comment as being done, and then it just disappears. So he never gets to see it. So if he's watching this, please contact me at curtisboyle.sasktel.net. That's CURTISBOY and young LE at SASKTEL.net. And I will send it directly to you because I don't know what the heck YouTube's doing, but it's eating every time I try to put a link in. Now, for you people that are more regular YouTubers than I am, is there a way to change a setting so that you can allow comments to have links? Or is that some new thing they're doing or what?
Well, they probably think it's spam.
Yeah.
But is there a way to allow that or are you you're at the mercy of YouTube?
Yeah, you can allow it, but it's best not to unless it's a moderator or something.
Well, I was thinking even if you can just let it, long enough for me to get him the link so he can download the disc and then shut it right back off, that'd be fine.
If you give him a broken link that could be reconstructed to be useful.
I tried that. I actually put the word dot and com, separated out. Okay. I spelled site wrong with a GHT and it ate all of it.
Oh, geez.
I did 6 separate attempts yesterday to try to get him the stupid link. And finally, I'm hoping he watches this, got my email address to email me. I'll just email you the disk image directly. Because it should not be this hard.
You have to be more imaginative than the spammers.
Right, the AI bot.
Yeah, maybe I should add porn to it and it'll let through. I don't know, because that seems to get through in our stuff all the time. But actually, as a bonus, I didn't send him a disk image with just doing the masking, which does slow things down because you're doing 2 puts for every motion thing, and you can't use the fast put where you're doing on byte boundary. So I gave him a demo with the byte boundary one too. But I also showed that because of the way the extended basic manual explained how to reserve an array for doing get put buffers for the CoCo 1 and 2 is completely out to lunch. They tell you to reserve way more RAM than you should. So they even mentioned manual, you can only fit 1,400 pixels or something in a square on a 16K machine. That's completely wrong. I actually, as an experiment, and one of the things I sent him is I drew a random set of lines on the screen and then told it to get the entire screen as get put buffer. And that works just fine. You can put it right back on. I actually clear the screen random colors in between and then do a put of a full 256 by 192 get put buffer. And that works. It's not super quick, but it's not bad speed-wise. It'll draw it in less than a second. So you can actually do some pretty cool things with get put way above what the manual say. In fact, if we have people interested in doing it later on after the news, I'll actually load up the disk image and just show you guys what some of the little things I sent over is. Just for people who have not explored get put buffers too much beyond what the manual says. Anyway, his game's turning out pretty good.
Sounds
What's
like a Coco Fest webinar.
Well, I think Ken and I are going to be doing some other stuff. It's going to be more nitrosign based on stuff, but I'm going to be planning on doing some graphic stuff. We haven't quite ironed out all the details, but one advantage that nitrosign and OS9 level 2 have over Coco 3 basic is that you can have multiple high-res screens. Like on P mode on Coco 1 and 2, of course, you can have P mode 1, or 4,1 and then 4,5. You can have two separate screens, which you can alternate or do, kind of animation effects, etc. But on the Coco 3, they didn't let you do that. You have H screen and then the screen. That's it. You have one screen. And on OS 9, you've got basically as much as you've got device descriptors and RAM for. So if you want 16 screens under control of one program, go for it. You can do that. So we'll kind of cover a bit of that. I doubt I'll show a 16 screen one, but if you guys have seen the ray trace bouncing ball demo, which has the little glass globe bouncing up and down and then reflecting some other globes and background checkerboards and stuff, that actually I think is 9 or 10 16 color 320 screens. So it's like a quarter of a meg of actual graphic screens preloaded, and then it just flips between them. So that you can do in OS 9. So we'll cover stuff like that.
Say what you started.
Next up, John, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, or Zolfo on Facebook in the Coco group has released some more templates. Now, we covered some templates he's done in the past where he's done, I think the first batch was doing the write protect notch and index hole templates. You can double side make a flippy disk basically, which Jason had mentioned he'd done back in the past as well. And then last week, I think we covered he was doing 3 different sizes of disk labels you could actually print out on a modern printer to make, if you buy the Avery sticky stuff, you can actually peel off and actually use them for disk labels, which actually I probably should do because most of my original Coco disk labels have all fallen off because glue wore off. So he's actually returned with yet another thing to add in here. And for those of you who have the Tandy electronic book, and that's a fairly rare item. I don't have one personally. I don't know how many people here on the panel do. Pretty sure Brian Weisler and Terry Steggy have them. I don't know if Rick or Mark or Jason or some of the other people here have it or not, but there was kind of plugged into the joystick port from what I remember, and then you would press this pen or something onto them, it would actually register as if it was an analog reading of a joystick. So you could actually make these templates of stuff to tap on basically to operate. And even some Tandy games use these. Even some Dragon games use these, actually. I think the Dark Pit is one. So basically what he's done here, and for those of you who can't see it, it's basically a page template to fit with the binder ring holes and everything in there for doing these little press button things you can do on the electronic book. And if the actual electronic book, when you bought it, from what I understand, came with some blank templates. You could design your own stuff. You can make educational programs, game programs, whatever you wanted to do. But of course, once you filled them in, you didn't have any blanks anymore. So this is a template you can actually print out to make your own blanks. And because that's a fairly rare piece of hardware, I don't know how well a game commercially would do. It would be kind of cool if somebody actually made a game to require that again and maybe kind of expand on it. Maybe make a Coco 3 version of it, because I don't think that's ever been done before. I don't think any Coco 3 programs ever used electronic book. And since it plugs in the joystick port, it should just work. So I'd be interested to see what people could pull off of it. If anybody brings it to the fest here this year, I would like to take a closer look, because I don't know too much about electronic book. I just know it plugs in the joystick port and you can read it using normal joystick commands. But I don't really understand fully exactly how it works. I know John Linville did a deep dive on it at one point as the tech segment on the Coco Crew. So if people want to do a little bit of a review, I don't remember what episode it was, but he definitely covered it as well. And I might have to pick one up to fiddle with.
Seems a lot like a Koala Pad, which is the same type of thing, analog joystick with a flat.
Yeah, except this was actually pages in a book, and it would. I don't know if it detected which page you had open, because these books had more than one page in it, so I'm not sure how that worked. Maybe you just tapped a menu, say I'm on page 7 or something. So I don't know enough about it to really talk about it fully, but I would like to get some more details on that. This next one, I'm going to play a couple of chunks of this. It's a almost 16-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, though. It's fascinating enough to watch. I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind. But this is actually put up at the Home Computer Museum. I believe it's in the Netherlands. And we've covered them before because they've actually had Cocos and Dragons in this museum that we've covered. What happened here is that they had a person that passed away. That I think they describe it down here. So I'll just read this out loud for people that are not seeing the video. By the end of 2021, we were contacted to save computers of a deceased collector in a barn in southern Belgium. Little did we know what we found. We went to go pick it all up in September of 2022. It was like a free candy shop for computer collectors, and we're ever so happy that we got this once in a lifetime opportunity. The Home Computer Museum saved around 100 computers from this collection. The rest is being saved by other collectors. Nearly everything is saved, and since October 2022, everything is gone from the barn. And this is a multi-level barn, just to give you a hint. As a museum, this was like being in a candy shop. We were allowed to take all. We drove there with 2 big vans and 3 cars, all completely filled with stuff. This sounds like Brian Weasler out on a shopping trip. Registering and repairing took another 3 weeks in the museum. It is taken until January 2023 before we had the final piece, the Hall Barn, in our collection. That is a story for a whole new video, which will be available in the next month or so. So I will play a beginning. It kind of does the explanation driving up, and then I'll fast forward to where we get to a few Cocos and TRCDs on here. But basically, this is a multi-story barn filled to the brim with old computer equipment, some of it in pristine, some of it in pretty yellow crap condition. The guy also collected general electronics. There's a lot of old electronic stuff in here too, beyond computers, but he had all kinds of rare stuff. So I'll play a little bit here. So it's this Home Computer Museum barn find for the listeners. And they have a picture of the guy that actually owned this barn, which I'll pause just so I can read it out for the listeners that don't have video. Joseph Jeff Mascheline, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, born in Roeselare, 1947, was the owner of this amazing collection. He grew up in Steden, West Flanders, which I believe is from the famous Flanders Field poem from World War. Jeff had a passion for electronics. Go there, I'll just need the music here. He studied physics in Leuven. After his studies, Jeff became a physics teacher in Weert in the Netherlands. Electronics was Jeff's hobby. He was especially passionate about the development of the computer. As early in the mid-1970s, his students were able to take extracurricular computer and programming lessons with him. These lessons were a big success, and a real computer club was founded, and it's at his school in Weert in the late 1970s. This was special at the time. Most people did not have their own computer at home at the time. Jeff, of course, did. Jeff was passionate about the development of the personal computer. In his country house in the Ardennes, he built up an extensive collection of old computers. After his retirement, Jeff developed a new hobby, amateur radio, and Jeff moved back to stay in West Flanders, where he died in June of 2021. So that's kind of the background story. This guy was collecting stuff like from the 70s on. The following video was sent to us to see if we were interested in the barn find. We were. And they just kind of like wander through some of these shelves. You got some Macs there, and there's PCs and all kinds of stuff here. Monitors, keyboards, floppy disks, cables, printers. Hallburn, I don't know what that is. That's apparently a fairly rare machine. Walking by a whole bunch of these look like PCs, I'm guessing, of some sort.
I'm thinking terminals.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, a lot of those look like terminals.
I'm used to really old terminals like ADM3As, so those look too modern. That is quite the collection you have there.
Yeah, there's
you see like shelves and shelves and shelves full. And this is just one level.
Yeah, there's a lot of DEC terminals there, and there was a couple HP early PCs, like a DEC Rainbow.
Yeah,
you can tell a Rainbow because of the very unique disk drives on it.
Now let's go upstairs to the second level.
Older high metal boxes weren't terminals.
Ooh, Morrow.
Looks like a Franklin Ace 1200 with the drives on top of the Apple.
I have to say, for the audio listeners, you guys are going to have to pop in and see the video for this. Get the link from the Discord show notes. If you're into old computers of any sort, this is awesome. Anyway, I'm going to pause that.
Those look like a pack of hells.
Hey, he
I'm
had,
going to fast forward to where the Coco shows up as one of the.
he had room for more.
Oh, I was
They're going past.
memory lane.
So what is that one there for all you smart guys that do retro collecting?
That's not a US model.
Yeah, that's the other nice thing. He's got a whole bunch of stuff we've never
Looks
seen here.
Maybe a little bit like a Commodore business machine, like a European Commodore.
No, that's not one of the CBM machines.
That's a Tulip System 1.
Hey, there's a human. There's a Model 1.
Yep.
There's the
Model 4.
A multi-pack, a Coco.
White.
Model 4.
Model 4.
Model 2.
MPI.
2.
Ooh, Model 2.
That's
Coco
Model 2.
Hold your cards. Bingo's been called.
Oh, 1702.
Yep.
And there was a Franklin Ace 1000 back there, it looked like.
If somebody didn't have a computer museum, this would be a dang good start.
Well, this is a computer museum, so they already had a good start, but they actually kept over 100 machines themselves.
This wouldn't be a start. This would be the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready-made museum.
Dusted.
Zenith monitors.
Hard drives.
Now, Mark, your seminar at CoCo Fest is going to be on what to, how to handle a will or something to give your computers at home instead of disappearing. And this guy actually told his family he wanted to donate them to a computer museum. So this is a perfect example. And I mean, his collection is just wow.
Yep. Yep. It's exactly, instead of all getting scrapped and recycled, it's going to go somewhere it'll be put on display for people.
500, 600, and 1200.
Yep. Amigas. Another terminal there. Adds viewpoint, maybe.
And it looks like he had it fairly well organized.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some
Ooh,
racks.
an Atari TT. Ew, Atari STs. Ooh, he has a 260. Those things are rare. Mega
64
STs.
over there. Yep.
8 bits. 800 XL. XE.
I think the museum was sold in the first minute and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. There's a 64.
Well, this is no longer the video that they sent them to see if they were
Plus
interested,
16?
but this is the video they shot themselves when they went to go pick it
Yeah.
all up.
10
20.
plus 4, 128.
Yep.
Oh, does that stairs mean there's another floor?
Yep. Like this is a find.
Yeah, this is a second floor. So is there a third floor?
No, but there's a section on general electronics that they get into a little bit later, which I want to show you guys because you guys are kind of into this. There's a Tulip again.
Yeah, I think Tulip computers were like from the Netherlands.
Schneider, Sharp, HP86, Sony, and a 1286. There's a 286.
Those look like MSX machines. A TI.
And here you can see they've already started emptying it out. There's some of the shelves are bare already. Ton of laptops of various vintages and types.
Hey, was that a Tandy PC at the top?
Oh, it might have been. Let's try to find those.
Canon Bubble Jet.
Yeah, he's got the peripherals too, like there's modems and all kinds of stuff in here. Some box lasagna, I'm pretty sure that has something else in it. And there's you're getting some of the general electronics, so he's got like VCRs and all kinds of things too. And he was quite into ham radio at one point, so apparently he's got a whole ham radio collection there too.
Yeah, that opening video that was sent to him. That's a whole stack of ham equipment.
His intro page, he's sitting in front of a pretty good stack.
I'm getting motion sickness from the video, but I'm not complaining.
So they're all set up now in the museum in the Netherlands. So if you go to the Home Computer Museum there, go check it out. Like if I ever get out that way, I'm definitely going to go by to see some of this stuff in real life. Because there's quite a few European machines I've never even heard of, never mind seen before, even in photos only.
Yeah,
And,
I've only heard of tulips.
And I do know they have quite a bit of stuff. Like one of the nice things about it that they mentioned when they were showing the Dragon and Coco stuff is that these are hands-on. These aren't just behind glass. You can actually turn them on and fiddle with them. So that'd be pretty cool too to see how they actually ran back then. Anyway, that was pretty amazing stuff. So definitely go if you're into general retro collecting, go check out the whole video. You'll be pausing constantly to see what all's hidden on the shelves.
I think it's pretty awesome that he taught programming classes in the late 70s. He had machines available.
Yeah, like he's quite ahead of his time. Like I know when we got our first computer, the kids had to basically self-teach because none of the teachers had a clue what to do with it. And then in early high school, I remember we had to teach the teachers, because some of their exam questions were wrong. So next up, Coco Crew has released their latest episode. Of special note, they've got a discussion on is retro still cool? How long will it be that way? Of course it is. Silly question. And Neil did a review of Carl England's Backup Magic, which is an old copy program for doing copy protected discs. And I know we've covered on the show recently, Carl's working on one that works with the SDC, so you can actually do copy protected discs of various different copy protection types to back them up onto an SDC, which actually will allow us to recover some games that, a hacker has done, but not a really good job, and half the sprites are corrupted and blah, blah, blah. So we can actually get some of the full ones back. So check out that episode for this month. Next up, it's not on the site yet. I wasn't sure if it was going to be. I don't know if Frank's in the chat or not. But if you remember in the last couple of weeks here, we mentioned that the Darren Atkinson has released the files needed to make the, what is it called, Sloopy? The MC10 SD card thing?
MSX 32? I think.
Is it the MCX 32 SD or something?
MCX 32? Yeah.
Yeah. Which is basically a ROM upgrade for extended basic plus 32K of RAM plus an SD card reader.
Sorry.
And
my mute was on.
oh. And Darren Atkinson released the specs for it. And Ed, of course, has just been swamped because he's trying to catch up on so many orders. So he's bouncing back and forth between products to make SDCs and stuff for the MC10, stuff for the Cocos, composite video mods, all kinds of stuff. But since Darren has released these publicly, Frank is actually working on, he's expecting to have them available in the store. And they'll be the same price as Ed's. He's not trying to gouge him or anything. It's just as a second source and give Ed a chance to catch up on other stuff. But they should be on sale in his store, Retro Rewind, as of sometime next week is the current plan. So any of you who have been trying to get the MCX 32 SD but have been unable to get it on the rare times that 5 copies of it show up and then disappear within 24 hours, you soon will be able to get them off of here as a second source. And Frank's got a lot of manufacturing capacity, a fair bit more than Ed actually, so he should be able to keep up with the orders a fair bit better. Of course, you can still get the SDC and the 609 CPU and the diagnostic card and cap kits and everything else too. And he, of course, does repairs, etc. So once it actually shows up in the store, I'll probably have him on just to quickly talk about it as a kind of a product release.
Do you know if he's going to be fixing computers at the fest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the plan.
Okay, awesome. Because I had a couple people who emailed me about that. So
yeah,
now we know.
If they know roughly what's wrong, let them know so he can bring the appropriate parts.
Okay, I'll forward the emails to him.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Tony Vincent posted this in the Dragon users group on Facebook. And this is kind of neat. Like I know we've seen some other ones where people have made flash ROMs or larger ROM adapters that have more than one ROM image on it, and they have a dip switch or something to switch, between say a disk basic 1.0 and a disk basic 1.1 or an extended basic and a color basic ROM setting. This is kind of dialed in for notice how I use that word there, for vintage computers, and it's actually a big honking ROM with a whole bunch of ROM images. But instead of having these dip switches, which means people that are hardware agnostic or not very good at hardware, like some people, like user style, trying to figure out what dip switches would make the binary pattern to select the number of the ROM you want is actually a bit complicated. And plus, you can screw it up fairly easy when there's multiple switches. This is actually one that uses a little dial that you just put a screwdriver in, you just rotate it. You select which ROM bank you want to be active just by selecting anywhere from 0 to F. So it gives you 16 ROMs that you can put into one socket. and it's meant for general, not just CoCo, but obviously for general retro computers. I thought that's a pretty nifty idea because that's a lot easier for people to look at and go, I want color basic 1.3 with extended basic 1.1. Okay, that's 9. Click, 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 and
Because that almost looks like a Model 100 in that picture.
could be. I
Reminds me
didn't see
of-
where that particular screenshot came from, but it's a pretty good idea, I think.
Yeah.
And quicker, honestly, than trying to figure out, okay, I want this and this, so I need that switch has to be up, the next two have to be down, this one has to be up again.
Right.
That type
Well,
of thing.
it's elegant because it's all built into that rotary encoder thing.
Yeah. Well, there's been things like that for 10 years.
It just puts out the bits, but nobody's ever actually put it in a project before. So, it's the bringing it together that's the clever part.
Jim Brain uses it on his stuff. I have one of his C64 NIC pluses for the Commodore that has a selector for a ROM like that. Kind of
Yeah. And his 2364 adapter, he sells a rotary switch that you can connect to the address lines to select.
Okay, so maybe it's been used in some other bigger retro communities, just hasn't gone down to the CoCo and the Dragon yet, because I haven't seen this before, but I'm kind
Oh,
of
it's nice. It's all in one ROM.
CoCo centric.
It's one ROM socket, the little encoder and the flash. And there you go.
All in one single PCB is not common, but using a rotary switch for switching has been here and there.
Because I mean, if you got a bigger rotary switch or a couple of rotary switches, like ADF, most and least significant nibble or something, you could actually put the entire CoCo's cartridge collection into a large flash and just I want one app, that's Poltergeist or whatever.
Oh, you'd end up with 2 of them. Yeah.
Or extended ADOS 3 or Nitrous 9 auto boot.
Yeah, who needs that?
The entire known world, Mark, obviously.
Yeah, the internal drive wire board uses can use a rotary switch.
Anyway, it sounds like some of the guys in the Dragon community, the hardware manufacturers like Julian Brown, who does Dragon Plus Electronics, are quite interested in doing this and making versions of the CoCo and the Dragon. So that would be kind of cool. Nope. Somebody got something turned on? Or hearing something in the background. Next up, we switch over. Sorry, what?
Nothing.
That was you then. Okay.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh. Next up in the MC10 group on Facebook, we have from James Host. Now, we're talking about that 20 programs book from the Alice, and Jim Gary ported a couple. I think he actually typed them in. But James Host actually has a copy of the entire book already pre-entered in on a cassette set of images, and he's actually made a zip file of all 20 programs, the entire book, basically. All the source codes have already been typed in. And yeah, you can just go download that from the MC10 Facebook group and save yourself a heck of a lot of typing and trying to debug things. So I'm sure this will give ample time for Jim to crank out all of the remaining ones for the entire 20 there by next week. Next up in the Dragon group on Facebook. So the first one here is Perry Andrews finally got around to assembling the Dragon PSU power supply unit. This is actually made by John Whitworth and from Dragon Plus Electronics. And of course, John had been undergoing his cancer treatments and is now back home. So he's actually working on getting some more kits ready because he basically switched everything to kits. So he didn't know if he could commit to manufacturing things start to finish. So this is an actual nice picture of it actually up and running, and he's basically got it going. I'll let you hardware people comment on this. I don't know too much about the Dragon's power supply unit versus a CoCo. I imagine they're quite different. And any comments from the hardware gurus? Besides the fact it's got LEDs.
I assume this also needs a transformer.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't seem to have enough to be a switch mode, so.
Yeah, no, it's linear, right?
Yeah, it says it's top 5 volt standby 500 milliamp max, which is standard USB.
Yeah, it's probably like a yeah, the input must be from a 12 volt regulated PSU.
Okay.
Positive.
Yeah.
Big huge
Okay.
in the middle of it.
And I think on the Dragon, their power supply is also part of the video circuit.
Yeah, you can see in the lower left there says 2 RGB board. And actually above that it has a jumper between Tano and UK Dragon too. So
Nice. Yeah.
110 and 220 volt.
So this is one replacement that would actually handle for both the NTSC version and the PAL version.
I bet it doesn't explode like the original.
Hopefully not. I do know the fact that they've made replacements, so they probably didn't last too long, or had some glitches.
Had issues.
Next up, also from the same person, Perry Andrews, he also took a photo of a display at the Science Museum in London, which includes a Tier City Model 1 and a Dragon 32, as well as some Macs and some other, substandard machines.
ZX81, TI-994A.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, probably quite a few recognized. TI-99, the Sinclair, the Commodore. Is that a VIC 20 or C64?
Looks like a VIC 20.
Actually, I can zoom it. What am I waiting? Trying to figure this out. So that's a Spectrum there, and that's a ZX81. I don't remember which one. Is that the BBC Micro or Acorn or something? Can't remember. But Dragon 32 prominently displayed in this little history of
shows up
personal computers, and then of course there's the Model 1. Expansion interface and all. That was kind of cool. So if you're ever in London, England, and you want to check out some old computers at the museum, go for it. Next up, Matt K has posted that he is making, now he's made some replacement, I think he's made one who made the posters, and he's made some replacement repo boxes and stuff for cassettes. But now he's working on removable blister pack ones with a card back that you can put your favorite cassettes in and display them with the full color artwork. And actually hang them on the little hooks if you want to, put on a display using the hooks type thing like they would have done back in the old days. And of course, these look really, really good. And they're based on the original artwork. So you see Cashman, that's actually artwork from Mictron themselves in the States. And then Backtrack and Eddie Steady Go are both, Dragon specific ones. And Backtrack, for those of you who don't know, is that really cool top view of a maze, but with 3D perspective. And you have to wander through in a time limit and try to, escape and not get eaten by snakes and stuff. It's actually quite an impressive looking game. Eddie Steady Go was a sequel, which honestly isn't quite as good. But these look really nice. And I know a lot of people are getting into making displays now, like we saw Terry Steggy's background there, where he's got everything nicely put on shelves, which is the complete opposite of the swamp mess I've got here. And Rick, I think you're more along my lines too, where you just put stuff where you have room. But if you want professionally looking displays for some of the old cassettes, and say some of your old original cassette stuff is actually a bit damaged or whatever, or you want it to just be able to put on the hangers, this is actually a pretty good idea. And he's got scans and high quality ones of the original artwork for a lot of these games too. So, and some non-game software as well. So that's a pretty good idea. I could see some of the computer museums actually using this kind of stuff instead of just taking the shelves. Next up after that, we have a YouTube channel in French, from France, not from Quebec. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Something... Okay, I did try to pronounce it. It still sucked. But basically, it roughly translates to Geek One Day, Geek Always, is basically what the name of the channel is in English. And he actually does a brief introduction to a Dragon 32 he just received. I have the closed captioning turned on so you can kind of see a rough translation. I'll just show a little tiny bit at the beginning.
On se retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo. Vidéo aujourd'hui micro-informatique vintage. Alors aujourd'hui, je vais vous présenter.
And as usual, the YouTube translate isn't perfect. You'll see some odd translations.
Qui était fabriqué en Angleterre.
There it goes.
Du Dragon 32. Ça fait un nom d'enfer, hein, le Dragon 32.
Now, was the Dragon 32 sold in France? I don't think it was. I know it was sold in Spain, obviously, because Eurohard had it. But I don't know if Dragon was selling to mainland Europe all that much. Karen or somebody in the chat might be able to correct me on that. This one I know when he turns it over, it's actually manufactured in Wales, so... No, he just has a basic rundown. He kind of shows the computer itself. He goes around, shows the ports on the side, etc. So, but it's nice to see. We're getting a lot of attention in non-English speaking. We've covered some other channels recently that have Spanish or Portuguese or whatever. So it's cool seeing both Dragons and Cocos getting mentioned because we're kind of been the underdog computers most of the time. Everybody in every country knows what a C64 and Apple II is. Not as many know about, Cocos, and even less know about Dragons. So it's really cool to see some of these other countries, discovering this stuff for the first time. Tim Gilbert's Wales is not England. I made the same mistake. I understand him. Next up, now, Kieran, we got a new person that came into the chat, or into Discord, I should say, recently. That goes by the name of Gorg Atari. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. But basically, he's a demo scene coder. Started mainly with the Atari 8-bit machines, and now he's done a few other things like Game Boys and a few others, and he's got a whole YouTube channel full of this. But apparently, this was meant to be part of a demo scene gathering in 2020 that was supposed to take place, I believe, in Belgium. I think I wrote that down. No, Slovakia, sorry. And it was going to be called Forever, and it was a demo party style thing. But because it was in early 2020, it got canceled due to COVID, so we never got submitted. And basically what this is, and this is a screenshot you can see on the screen here, is a 3D perspective similar to Gloom or Gatecrasher, but on a Dragon 32, not even a 64, just a 32, where it's basically walking through this set, and it's basically done in fairly square, probably to keep the speed up. But that little weird thing you see in the middle that's kind of purple with two white things, that's kind of your eyeball perspective. And you'll see it shift to the left and right to change the point of view of where you're looking at while you're walking through this 3D thing. The code in this is actually less than a K long. That was part of the demo competition he was going to enter this in. That had to be 1K of code or less. And he actually made a bit of a video of it here. So I will show it to you now. Now there's some clicking in the background. I don't know if that's the emulator doing that or if that was part of the demo. I know I've had some weird sound issues with XWR on a Mac. If we go off the focus of that window and on something else, you start getting weird popping and all kinds of weird stuff happening. But I will play this. So we'll mute the sound mostly because I don't think it's part of the demo, but might be. But you can actually watch the walking through in kind of 3D space, and then watching this little eyeball centering thing move across. You can see how the perspective changes. No, he's not doing like an actual 3D wall all the way through. He's doing like panels coming towards you, but it is doing the perspective properly. But not bad for a little 1K demo.
Can he move sideways? He seems to only be moving.
Yeah, right
forward.
now he's just moving straight forward, and he's basically changing the perspective, like where your viewpoint start is, where your eyeball is.
Yeah.
And it was meant to just be a demo to fit in 1K.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the tables and stuff would be longer than that to keep the speed up. So, but running on 0.895 megahertz. Like I know Nick, you've obviously done, Sockmaster's obviously done, Remy's obviously done these 3D perspective demos, but I don't think anybody's attempted it on a Coco 1.2 Dragon level machine before. It's all been Coco 3.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But so it was impressive just seeing it actually running on, the oldest hardware from 1980, 1982. That's all I have for the news this week. So I'm curious to see what he's planning on doing some further programming. He's mentioning in the Discord that it probably will not be a game because he's more of a demo coder. But if he does a demo kind of like that or takes that demo further, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the stuff he'd be able to cram out. You're muted, Slippy.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah, it looks like a good start for a 3D 3D system. So, newsflash, breaking news. There's been a change in the listing for the Game On Challenge. Let me bring this up real quick. New please, Zoom, please don't crash. Thank you.
Oh, you're somebody now.
Oh wow, there's a whole bunch of new scores in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I found out the problem was how I was copying from one to the other and messed it up because last week I went through and spent 2 hours making this new template, and then today I couldn't find it. So I was like rushing to get it done, and I kept screwing up. But yes, the actual top score this week was by Mike Miller, which was 1,126,576, and Tasman is second with 1,076,480. And we have a Curtis in there with 216 at 460 at 8th place, and Kieran at 4th place with 402,270. I apologize. I've been given 50 floggings with a wet noodle for my mistake, and my pay has been docked 50%. So I am truly sorry.
Actually, it also helps too, because you've actually got, like from going from 12 players with actually 11 listed to 15. So actually it was a bit more successful too, which is good to know. But yeah, thanks for actually doing all that fixing actually while we're on the show. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I just got a message from payroll. They said there's a division by zero error.
Okay, Jason first, then Nick, because I didn't hear either of you.
I just got a message from payroll that that there was a division by zero error.
Yes, there was.
The whole system.
Yeah. Nick, what was your comment?
Oh, I was just saying now we're just waiting on Karen to finish patching Nicoid.
No pressure.
Nah, I think those people should just get themselves a CoCo.
Tom Eric Anderson, of course, is from Europe as well. He says, yes, there was a CCAM version of the Dragon sold in France. And there was a CCAM version of the MC10 too. Or was that, pretty sure that's what we saw. And I assume the CoCo probably maybe as well. Or was the CoCo sold in France? I think it was.
Yeah. Also, Retro Innovations is working on releasing a MCX32 SD also.
Okay, so we're gonna have multiple sources, so then Ed can actually concentrate on the stuff.
Yeah,
that's uniquely Ed.
Yeah, I don't know the current status. I just know that it's already in the works, and some parts have been ordered. So the best I can say is that by Coco Fest, there should be some in stock.
Okay, I know Frank said that he's already got parts in, and he actually had most of them in already. And that his is supposed to be having the first ones available in the store by the end of next week.
Yeah, because the biggest problem is that several of the parts are end of life, and the usual sources have a set amount, and once those are depleted, there'll be no more. So it's going to be a similar problem to the CoCo SDC, where you have to substitute parts or find old stock in other places.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Darren's released the files for this one, and I think this is the one time he's actually said you can modify them to adapt to, either add features or work with different hardware. So that might be one where we can actually, get it using parts that are available again to make it a lot easier. Like, I'm still worried about the SDC.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank's figured out a workaround kind of, but.
Yeah, well, that's why it's taking Retro Innovations a little bit longer, because we want to have a system that's not, we can make them until we have the parts. He wants
future perfect,
make it so that it's a sustainable product.
Yeah.
So
cool. So anybody who's got an MC10 has been looking for one of those and trying to catch Ed on the the rare 24-hour period out of a month that he actually has some in stock. It sounds like there's going to be two sets that'll be able, or two different companies are going to be kind of helping pick up the ball there. And hopefully that will give Ed a chance to, work on the Gimme X and a whole bunch of other things too. So,
yeah.
Well, that's all I had. So I don't know if there's anything else. We ready to project updates and acquisitions. So I think we might be at the end of the show, unless somebody has something else they want to add in before we go off the air.
We've hit 3 hours, so that's probably about a good enough time. So let's see.
Push the button, Frank.
Okay, here's this one.
This concludes another episode of the CoCo Nation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things the CoCo Nation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The Coco Nation Show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The Coco Nation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The Coco Nation is over. Join us on the Coco Discord server.
Coco forever.
Just to solder.
No, don't waste your time.
We can't get that kind of clearance from the fire marshal.
We already.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to have me operate an elevator last time, and look what happened.
We could do it outside.
I mean, we already have enough visits from the fire department.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
We'll just shave you first.
Push the button, Frank.
Join us. Join us.
Bye bye. See you next
next
week.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Later.